And a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to the Aviva Stadium in Dublin. A lovely, dry and mild Dublin day. Perfect conditions for what should be a Six Nations classic. The start of 5 hours of uninterrupted Six Nations coverage here on Radio 5 Sports Extra, the BBC Sport website and the BBC Sounds app. We are 15 minutes away from France against Ireland, a game that will go so far to deciding the destiny of the 2025 Men's Six Nations. Delighted to have Donncha O'Callaghan, a Grand Slam winner, a great of Irish rugby with us on 5 Sports Extra. Donncha, great to see you. I mean, how good is this?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's one of these special days. Everyone walking around in the stadium early, looking forward to what could play out to being one of the greatest games played here in Lansdowne Road. It is teed up. The emotion is high around the place. Obviously, we'll chat about the three moving on players, but a championship on the line for these lads, the chance to write history, to have a special page of their own. It's quite unique, but know that France are going to be something. I hope this game lives up to what it could be.
I know, we've been talking up, haven't we?
Yeah.
Talking it up all week. In terms of European rugby, when we look at the global stage, New Zealand, South Africa have shared the last 5 World Cups. That might still be the biggest rivalry, but this isn't a million miles away. In terms of European rugby, this is the two best teams by a street. Going head to head, the stakes so high.
Yeah, absolutely. You just have to look at the last 4 championships being decided with this fixture, and a point between them is what the bookmakers are making it out to be. So you couldn't really call this either side of it, but you just know for Ireland today, it's everything. They know the points tally that France have. You have to win. There is no. This is a big game.
Yeah. So true. You mentioned the points difference. Ireland's is 28, France's is 91. So you're right. If France win, then they go and play Scotland at home, knowing exactly what they need to do. Ireland win, they are 1 game away from a Grand Slam, an historic 3rd straight title. We're only 13 minutes from kickoff. It's just gone 2 o'clock. These early ones sneak up on you, don't they?
Yes, absolutely. And even the crowd here recognising Antoine Dupont has flashed up on the screen, and quite it's surprising, really. Gets a massive cheer, and I suppose that is the holding he has within the global game. Everyone knows today that they're seeing something special, one of the greatest talents to probably lace up a pair of rugby boots. But whoa, he's going to be someone that the Irish team need to really watch, but hopefully he can bring a performance.
Conditions ideal as the players come out. Who's leading Ireland out? Will it be Peter O'Mahony, Cian Healy or Conor Murray? It looks like it's going to be O'Mahony by himself, but behind him is Healy and behind him is Murray. And there you go, those 3 getting their moment in the sun. Before that, we do have to touch upon the breaking news the last 5 minutes. Calvin Nash is in, James Lowe, back spasm in the warm-up. What a blow.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with that back 3 as it was. Osborne already coming in, maybe not so much his position, so that's an area, especially with Chris, how well France kick. A real key battle now, Dave, for Calvin Nash to come in and add to this team.
Everyone around us is on their feet to salute the retiring heroes. Peter O'Mahony has his moment there on the Aviva Stadium turf, this pristine lush green Aviva Stadium turf. Then he's followed by Cian Healy, and then Conor Murray is just with his lad on the sideline there. And he's soaking in the applause, and Healy and Murray have a hug, and those two are standing in isolation around the 22, and now Murray slowly goes to join them. The trio who have given so much to that green of Ireland, who have been sent to pieces in this Irish team for the last 10-15 years, this golden era really of Ireland rugby, 5 Six Nations titles each. And no surprise, Donncha, you would have played with all 3 of them, that everyone around the stadium is on their feet to give them their moments.
Absolutely, and they thoroughly deserve it. But not only that, the respect from France to leave those 3 boys lead out and wait and give them the applause they deserve. There's also Caelan Doris, Finlay Bealham and Jack Conan following them on their 50th cap. But it's all about the lads today, and Chris, we chatted about it earlier in the week. How they balance that emotional drive is key today. Go over the top and they could be in real trouble, and especially someone like Peter O'Mahony, he's an emotional animal, and it's really good to he needs to keep that in check today while also being on the edge.
Oof. How good is this going to be? We're just over 10 minutes away, and for all the talk of strategy and tactics and technical play, that emotional, motivational driver can be such a difference when the levels are so high and the stakes are so high too. We're going to have a moment of applause for Dr. Bill Mulcahy, a great of Ireland and Lions rugby, who died at the end of last month, age 90. Here's the applause.
Yeah, Dr. Bill Mulcahy, an incredible man, did it all on the pitch, but also spent time giving back as well. We were lucky enough to win an under-19s World Cup. Brian O'Driscoll was in that squad as well. He was our team doctor, and just his love for the squad, his love for the game, a great man, and will be sadly missed.
And this is the bit, Donico, take us into the players' minds. We're going to have the dignitaries and the handshakes with the president, and the players are waiting for the anthem, the band about to strike up. You know there are still 10 minutes to go. You're out, you've run out, you've had that adrenaline boost. But you've got to somehow keep it in check because we've got a bit to go till kick-off.
Yes, Chris, very difficult. It really is, because there's emotion in it, and also where the players are facing, just behind them, they'll know where their families are, so they will catch eyes with their loved ones before they go out. But this, you nearly have to separate it for a little bit. Hook drawn here, walking on the pitch, and the salute for Michael D. Higgins, President Michael D. Higgins.
Anthems on their way, 10 minutes or so to go, just under, till Ireland against France in the Six Nations. And just to set it up, France have 11 points, Ireland have 14 points, England are lurking with 10. But as you touched upon at the top of the show, Donica, if Ireland win, they're all but home and dry, aren't they? They've got to go to Rome and take nothing for granted, but that's just the game you'd want. Italy on the final day with history on the line. But if France could get 4 match points to go up to 15, that could take them past Ireland. If Ireland don't get a bonus points are going to be a factor. But that whopping France points difference from that win against Wales and the thrashing of Italy could be decisive if France win today.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Chris. As senior players and management would normally meet, and they would come up with plans. What do we need point-wise? I'd say there was none of that within the Irish camp this week. It is quite simple. The message is really simple. Get a result. 3-0, whatever it takes, get a result. And I do think that's also been the message in the French dressing room as well. You know, I know Irish people will play up to it, but Thierry Henry being in their dressing room this week, you know, he's not a fan favourite in Ireland after the World Cup, well, the qualifiers for the World Cup in 2000. And I think that would have been the message for France as well, that in those moments, and no one's condoning cheating, but when you come to professional sport and you come to that hard end, you have to find a way, and I think that's what this French team will be looking to do today.
I think it might have been your good self, Donica, that wrote a brilliant column in the Times one year about desperation and winning the battle of who wants it more in Test rugby, and you did it ahead of a Wales-Ireland game, I think, because Warren Gatland always had the knack of getting Wales into a great motivational place before the game. And I was thinking, who needs this more, that desperation factor? And the list is long when you look at Ireland. 3 guys making their 50th appearance, 3 guys retiring, so much emotion swirling around Dublin. But equally for France, it's just too good a team to be out of the title race for a 3rd year in a row. It's a team that were chastened by losing at Twickenham when they had played all the rugby in parts and had all the breaks. So there's a lot on the line for the French, and Ireland have to be wary of that.
Absolutely, and it's a generational team, to be fair. You look at, and you take 2 points aside, you look at that team sheet. You know, as individuals, you would take every one of them. And as well, the French Union have totally backed them, and the clubs, giving them everything they could need to perform. And you must say, Chris, they will be disappointed with probably the hold they have for the success of the team. It does lead to a little bit of pressure as well. But yeah, you're right. It's such a key battle today. It doesn't get enough credit, that one battle. And you can't put it down in a stat. It doesn't, go on the score line. It's down in little moments. Who gets off the ground quicker? Who's a good teammate that looks after their friend, has their back, and that French team will bring it.
It is all happening around the Aviva Stadium. Andy Farrell, the Ireland head coach, but on secondment to the British and Irish Lions. I mean, how many Ireland players will look to put their Lions foot forward with Farrell in attendance? And as we have these sort of moments with the handshakes and the dignitary and the president going up and down the line, shaking hands with all the France players moving on to Ireland, always reminds you of that standoff in 2003. I'm not sure if you were quite on the international scene at that point, but when you think Dublin and you think dignitaries, you think about England holding that goes down in Six Nations legend.
Absolutely. For me, Martin Johnson was a not childhood hero, a peer that I always looked at. I was actually in the stand. I trained with the squad the week before it, but I was only holding tackling bags, and I'll never forget it. And Chris, I know it's not a popular thing to say around Ireland, but I kind of loved it out of him because he wasn't taking a backward step. He left everyone knowing that day he was told where to go, he stood there and he wasn't for budging. And you know, there are moments, of course, you want to be respectful and right, but I think in that moment as well, I think he won the game, you know.
It's just one of those great moments, you know. That's what makes the Six Nations so special, because it's an amalgamation of everything, isn't it? You know, we've got the stat screen in front of us. We're going to be glued to the carries, the meters made, the offloads, the tackles. But there's bits that you can't measure, as you were talking about. You can't cut players open and look at their heart and their will, and it's that heart and will that can be decisive on a day like this, when it is suffocatingly hard to call. You know, excuse the name drop, but we're in the lift with Brian O'Driscoll, and yeah, one of the all-time greats of Irish rugby. No one can seem to call this game with any confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been the frustration for everyone. All of us do a little bit of punditry, but you cannot call this game. And as well, there's also the autumn internationals against New Zealand, where you also had that feeling, this exact feeling of expectation, and it underperformed from an Irish point of view. So there's that nervousness that maybe something like that could happen as well. But you're right, I think there's also a window for this Irish team, though. Luckily, this team has captured the sporting imagination. Even everyone in Ireland is watching them today. Girls and boys are looking to them, and for our game to have this window to actually maybe hopefully attract more people to play our game is vital, and you know, something that we would hope that we could exploit with this brilliant team.
Wherever you're listening to us, online, on your radio, on your BBC Sounds, do not go anywhere. We are moments away from Ireland against France, part of a bumper day of Six Nations rugby here on Sports Extra. We'll be in Edinburgh at half-time, and then we'll be straight to Scotland and Wales after. The anthem's on their way as the dignitaries are complete. And if you are just joining us, breaking news: Ireland without James Lowe. Back spasm in the warm-up. Calvin Nash, like for like on the wing. He's going to wear 11, but I wonder if Nash will be on the right wing, Osborne on the left, given Osborne's got a left boot. That's something for Ireland to work out, and something maybe, Donncha, that could just send a little essence of panic around the team. We'll pick up on that, but let's do the anthems first. The two Ireland anthems to come, but first, the Marseillaise. And as you walk around Dublin today, all around the stadium, there are French everywhere, and that is brilliant. There weren't that many English in town last time we were here for the England game, but there are French everywhere, making a racket. No more so than now, La Marseillaise. Magnificent rendition, warm applause from both French and Irish fans after. Here are time for the Ireland anthems now. Here comes Ireland's call. The fireworks, the flames, the green smoke on the far side from us. And after what feels a while with all the handshakes and the 3 anthems, we're about to get going. The 2 teams line up like this. And reporter Dan Sheehan, Finlay Bealham the front row for Ireland. Joe McCarthy, Ty Byrne in the second row. Peter O'Mahony, cap number 113, but his final appearance here in Dublin. Josh van der Fleer, Caelan Doris make up the back row. Jamison Gibson Park, key man at number 9. Sam Prendergast at 10. Bundee Aki, Robbie Henshaw in the midfield. But on the wing, Calvin Nash in for James Lowe, and then Jamie Osborne and Hugo Keenan, and a word Donncha O'Callaghan on that late change.
Yeah, incredible. A bit like you, Chris. I'm curious to see what happens here. Lowe is a loss. That left boot to exit is so important. But I wonder between Osborne and Hugo Keenan, will they rotate? Back three kind of pendulum work? Could we see them interchanging into playing fullbacks in certain positions?
Well, we're so immersed in the crowd here at the Aviva Stadium. We were standing, we've got to sit down because people have paid good money for their tickets behind us. Maybe if it gets exciting and Ireland score, the crowd will get to their feet, and so might we as well. France, Jean-Baptiste Gros, Pieter Bacca and Winnie Atonia make up a formidable front row. Thibaut Flamand and Michael Guillard in the second row. Francois Cropple, Budahon and Greg Aldred the back row. Antoine Dupont, Roman and Samat, 9 and 10. Yoram Moefana, Pierre-Louis Barassi in the midfield, and then Louis Biarri, Damien Penaud and Thomas Ramos make up the French backline. Ireland have 6 forwards on the bench: Herring, Healy, Clarkson, Ryan, Conan and Baird. Conor Murray, Jack Crowley, the 2 backs. France have 7: Marchand, Bale, Aldegheri, Miafu, Oradu, Jegu and Jelonch. And just the scrum half, Maxime Lucu. And that's rarely can we have a build up to a big game, Donncha, when we're talking about the replacements quite so much.
Yeah, it's been incredible. The last time probably South Africa when they went with it, and it deserves the debate. It divides people's opinion, but it certainly involves an awful lot of coaching.
From left to right, France kick off as referee Angus Gardner tells Roman Ntamak, let's go to work. And Ireland straight away looking to move the ball. Prendergast short ball to Bundee Aki on their own 22. Ireland, first phase of this decisive Six Nations contest. A win for Ireland, but victory for the French, and Le Bleu go slap bang into the title mix. Jamison Gibson Park with a high hoister of a box kick into the Dublin smoke, and I think Ireland have got up there to win that. Oh, what a huge territorial gain, and they're going to play here, aren't they, Ireland? Looking to wing it across from right to left. Bit of space perhaps for Keenan, who throws a dummy with Osborne, who's on the left wing as we thought, wearing 14 but playing on the left wing. 40 metres out Ireland, Prendergast static but gets his forwards into play. Joe McCarthy the big lock, centre field in French territory. Oh, he sees a bit of space there, Prendergast, that looks clever. Penaud's backpedaling, the languid Damien Penaud hurls it inside to Ramos, pressure on Ramos, he got his kick away, but Keenan's going to be able to counter-attack here. He dances over halfway, opening stages on Sports Extra from the BBC. Good switch with Nash. Oh, Osborne almost got away, backwards says the referee. Moefana has it, he gets the offload to Malbaka. Was that forward? It looked it, but referee Gardner was right there, and France storm almost up to the 22. Oh, there's huge space to the right, but no, they've got the forward pass. Donncha, a minute 30. If that's the start, if that's going to continue like that, bring it on.
Absolutely, that was the bit we were worried about, not from the early moments, Chris. What an incredible start. You mentioned the box kick to regather possession. Calvin Nash, but you must credit Gibson Park, the height on the kick, the air time to allow him to get under it. Calvin Nash, who's just come in for James Lowe, finding everything to win the battle in the air and get the ball back, and just the pace that this Irish team are moving the ball from side to side, quite impressive. It feels though like you want to see it though. I'd love to press pause for a minute and work out what's happening in the backfield, see the different types of positions people are taking up. It has been only a minute, but incredible pace to this game.
And in keeping with that theme of things you can't quite prepare for, you know, talking about the want and the motivation, injuries, you know, Bundee Aki's gone down there, James Lowe out in the warm-up, looks like Aki's okay, But France was so nervous with their backline as well, with just the one back. I mean, there's so much going into this, and that Prendergast seeing space behind Penalty. They got away with it, France, but clever vision from the youngster.
Yeah, absolutely. See no one in there filling the defensive line and taking advantage of it. You know that Bundee Aki mightn't be right, but he's certainly going to keep going. He's a warrior.
Yeah, there's no out-and-out centre on the Irish bench. They're taking a gamble of their own with 6 and 2. No Gary Ringrose. You wonder if Ringrose wasn't suspended, whether they would have a Henshaw figure on the bench, but those are all the decisions that the head coaches, they kind of live and die by, don't they? 2 minutes 40 gone here. Live, perfect vantage point, peering over the halfway line, the Aviva Stadium to the east of Dublin. Ireland 0, France 0. Angus Gardner, the referee, says to the forwards, let's go down. And Donnchadh, you've been in those scrums for 94 Ireland caps and a few more for the Lions besides.
Keep the height up, please. You know what the
How do you balance
are.
up the desperation to make an impression, but not going early, not giving a penalty away?
Absolutely, and you appreciate this time from the referee to get it right, because we do want the scrums to be a contest. So if you can spend a bit of time now to just enhance good behaviours, leave them all know exactly what they want. But after the Welsh game, this Irish pack does have to step up when it comes to scrummaging. And you know, with the bench that France have picked, this is the area they're coming for.
For sure, yeah, and probably sensible in that. You know, there's always this edict on the refs to speed the game up and get scrums and lineouts formed early. Equally, this is such a key contest area. France already going a bit early, and Ireland win the free kick. France desperate to impose themselves, but a little bit too quick there, Ireland. And now Robbie Henshaw juggles with it on the sponsors logo, just inside the French half, attacking from right to left in their green. Inside ball from Prendergast to Doris, who went on a good line, the Ireland captain, and it's a penalty advantage to Ireland as France spoil at the breakdown. Little ball up the back from Burns, a nice one. Prendergast to Aki. Aki wide to Henshaw, who's on the ball plenty. Nice pass, Robbie Henshaw. Dan Sheehan hugging the left touchline, out the All Blacks hookers do. 15 metres in now, Prendergast. Good little pump along to Porter. Ireland still with this penalty advantage. Gibson Park fizzes it to the left to O'Mahony. And listen to the roar for the retiring flanker. Another penalty. Gibson Park caught by Dupont. So second penalty. And Angus Gardner, I'm sure, will have a word with the French as Ireland boss the early stages. Donnchadh Callaghan, and if you're Prendergast, what are you telling him if you're in that hour? Looks like he's going for the corner, no question about going for the goal.
Yeah, not this Irish team. I think they're very different. What a kick. I know it's only small margins, but the angle he had there to try to make that and land it on the 8 metres out. I know as a front 5 forward I would appreciate that. He is getting a lot of heat from I'm sure Sean Edwards would have chatted to his players. That inside that 9-10 channel, they are really blitzing at Sam Prendergast.
Yeah, and when you kick to the corner like this, it kind of brings the maul into play. We know how the Irish like to maul. Byrne takes it, and straight away did Angus Gardner have his arm out? No, it looked like he was going to give a penalty. Sheehan's got it at the back. It's a nicely formed Ireland maul. They're only 5 minutes out. Sheehan dummies, goes for the line himself. Sheehan, a try scorer against England a few weeks ago. On Grand Slam Day a couple of years ago, he bagged a brace. He's a try scoring machine, is Dan Sheehan. Gibson Park, Ireland only a couple of metres out. He goes to the right, he finds Beelum. Penalty advantage against France with league penalties early on. There's another one as France are offside or infringing at the ball. And you think it's the kind of run of penalties, 1, 2, 3. If you were Caelan Doris, you'd say to Angus Gardner, okay, when are we talking something a little bit firmer? But for now, he's happy. Oh, Sheehan's tapped. He's going to score, is he, Sheehan? He jumped for the line. He's just stopped. Gibson Park comes to the right. Captain Doris up to the line. Is he held up? He might be. I think he is. Great defence, France. Ambition from Ireland to tap. But France hold out. Still 0-0.
We've become so used to teams having organised plays from these 5-metre tap penalties. And to see Dan Sheehan just tap the ball and go from it is quite old school. Clever line as well by Caelan Doris, noticing the referees in it and trying to take advantage of that space. But France do a great job. That goal line defence, I know some people have different views on it, but that ability to get under and now have a goal line drop off, brilliant defence by France.
Yeah, really rewards the defending team, because in old A few years ago, that would have been a 5-metre scrum and Ireland still on the attack. They are on the attack, but from 35 metres now through Doris, who always likes to run back to goal line dropouts. Nice little post. Prendergast on the outside, but France for now have this covered as Keenan tries to wriggle away. On the far touchline, 25 metres out, also Ireland. Finlay Beelham's carried a fair bit of ball. Ireland have had all the play in the opening 7 minutes here at the Aviva. Gibson Park, Bundee Aki a first receiver, dancing feet from the Connacht man. Into the 22 he goes. Oh, this is clearly a tactic from Ireland, picking and going round the ruck, looking to hurt France through the middle. Keenan's in a dummy half. Prendergast is caught by Moefana and driven back 10 metres or so, maybe just under. But outside the 22 now are Ireland, who have completely bossed the first 8 minutes, but so far with no reward. Ireland 0, France 0. Bundee Aki might have some space here. Can they get it away? Nash just about to Keenan. He offloads to Aki. Aki sticks his head down and goes into the 22. Listens to the roar round Dublin as Gibson Park is half court. Beelham flips it on to Byrne. Into the 22. France looking to steal. Have they got over that ball? They want it. They get it. Holding on Ireland. Penalty France. Great scramble France. And they'll be able to get out of their 22 for the first time in a few minutes.
Yeah, amazing turnover by France, and quite interesting to see, Chris. I thought Ireland would look to go through phases, speed a ruck, and they're not. They're looking to pop out of the tackle, keep the ball alive, and offload as much as they could. They get short on numbers there, and you just can't do this against that French team. They are all a threat over the ball and well able to poach, which is exactly they did, and relieve all the pressure.
Yeah, as Ntamak takes it up to the 10-metre line, almost hard to categorise these teams. Ireland used to be all about keeping possession, now they're kicking more. France used to be all about kicking and then playing off counter-attack. They might be playing a bit more, so we're trying our best to predict it, but it is pretty hard as France win the line out, and they kind of didn't quite get that move right, but they do have the possession. They set it up in centre field through Piatto Malvaca from Dupont's pass. France with a little bit of phase play, but Doris is on that ball. He's going to win a penalty. Yeah, they were going nowhere there, the French. Their line-out move didn't quite function. The ball was a bit low, so the player dived forward. They had no pace in their attack. Ireland get the penalty, and you do feel Donnacha, having had a lot of pressure for no points, this is where Prendergast needs to get Ireland on the board from 40.
I agree, Chris. I'm an old school forward. I think take your points, and yeah, that's certainly what he's doing. It's also a good kick for him to get him into the game as well. I know it's a bit out, it's on the 40 metres out, but pretty much in front of the posts, and there's a moment for your leader, Caelan Doris. Big play, comes up, turns the ball over. You must say great work by Sam Prendergast to get to the ground really early and allow Caelan Doris all the rights to get on that ball.
Well, interesting there, Gregory Aldrit having a big conversation with Angus Gardner. Dupont, the French captain, but Aldrit has captained France and has great captaincy experience with La Rochelle. So Angus Gardner happy to have a conversation with the France number 8, but a hush, a respectful silence around the Aviva Stadium. Prendergast from just under 40. I think he's just always hit the left upright. Penno's going to have to clear. He's somehow got a spiral away. That is some kick from Penno under pressure. More luck than judgment. He just whacked his boot through it. But if there was that question mark, you raised it in the build-up. A few kicks have been missed by Prendergast. We discussed it with Chris Henry on 5 Live earlier as well. It was on the edge of range, but straight in front.
Yeah, and there are the moments in big matches like this, you know it's going to come down to a score. You have to take every opportunity. He's a confident guy. Can he get back in the game? Can his pack give him an opportunity?
Oh, he'd love to have nudged that to settle him down. But France have conceded another penalty. That's 5 penalties in the first, 10 and a bit minutes, and they're offside. So they're leaking penalties at an alarming rate, the French, as Keenan almost gets away on the right side. 15 metres from the right touchline, then he loses it. But Angus Gardner's got 2 penalties, one at the maul, one offside in the middle. And you do wonder whether Prendergast, it's not too dissimilar from when he missed where he missed the goal a moment ago. Does he have another one to try and get back on the horse, or will he say, let's go to the corner? But Ireland 85% possession. France have conceded
we're within kind of 10 minutes.
At least 4 or 5 penalties.
Going to go for the corner.
And Prendergast is going for the corner. He's not taking on the kick.
Well, brilliant out of Caelan Doris there. He made the decision. You know, he didn't even look to Sam. He told him exactly what he wants. And when you've missed the kick as well, sometimes it can be helpful if your leader takes control in those moments, of course he wants to probably take one and get back in the game. But Caelan Doris saying the right thing to do is keep the ball down there and keep the pressure on.
They're not in the game yet, France, are they? So that's ominous from their point of view. It sort of, it can be good that they're not conceded. And when so it's very important Ireland to get on the board. And they throw to the back of the line out, and McCarthy peels away. We'll pick that up after seeing how Ireland do with this attack. Doris with a carry, just to the right of the post, 6 or 7 metres out. Aki's the decoy. Andrew Porter underneath the French crossbar. It's still 0-0, but Ireland have completely dominated the first 15 minutes. Live on BBC Sounds. Ireland have it through Gibson Park. To the right, Dan Sheehan. He takes it and steps. He's caught about 6 metres short. Gibson Park trying to catch the French unawares on the edge of the ruck. He couldn't be much closer, 4 metres out. Tapped on from Byrne to Sheehan. Now they pick and go again through the Irish forwards. They're keeping it close. McCarthy's in there. Aki's to the left, but to the right is Prendergast. No, it's Keenan. Oh, what a hit. Biel Biarri. That rocked the Aviva. But still it's Ireland. Still they're going. Calvin Nash late into the side for the injured Lowe. Tyg Byrne, blue scrum cap, the Munsterman, 2 within 5. Quick ball for Gibson Park. Again, Prendergast brings his forwards in. Oh, there was a hint of obstruction against Sheehan, but the referee happy. And then it's slowed up for Ireland, but they still have it through Doris. France's defence is really solid here, but will the dam burst? Because this is concerted Irish pressure. They're off the line and they almost get away. Penno's picked it up. Penno might score. If he gives it to Dupont, Dupont will score. Dupont against Prendergast. It's no contest. We're going to have to look for the knock-on. But Dupont has gone under the post, and there's a huge contingent of French fans celebrating behind the goal. I think we've got to see about the knock-on. Keenan is gesticulating. I think there was a knock-on from the French in the tackle, but on turnover ball they've gone 60, 70 metres, and what a huge blow that would be to Ireland with all those phases, all that attack, if they turn around 7-0 down. But we can hear over the loudspeaker they're checking for the knock-on, Donncha.
Yeah, certainly, but it just actually shows the threat. France nothing within their 22, 1 bouncing ball, 1 turnover, and they're under their sticks for Ireland there, but just shows the threats that France have. But Chris, I'm worried in a way, as an Irish head, just thinking this is so attritional. The work rate that Irish pack is having to go to get results.
Well, we're seeing the replay. I think there may be 2 knock-ons. I think Dupont and Penno have both knocked it on. It looked like that at the time. Here's the replay. Dupont's tackle on Keenan. That might be a knock. And then,
is that Bundyaki that plays that ball back?
It's a tough one. I mean, Ireland are already walking towards the mark. They're convinced. Let's listen in.
Clear knock-on on the first pass.
It's a knock-on. But you're right, the Aki one is borderline, but I think that the Pont one was more clear. In the tackle, no try, Ireland survived. But that point we were touching on a moment ago, France have not been at the races. They've hardly had anything with the ball, but that's what they can do, and Ireland they have to convert this pressure, don't they? They can't have all the play and turn around with nothing.
Absolutely, this is a heavyweight boxing fight and they are swinging, but the only thing is France have a bench to come on. Ireland need to get through this whole game. You're going to, some of these players won't get the breaks, so these French players will, and you just wonder if France actually, sitting back on the ropes and leaving them fire all the shots, because their defence has been incredible. You knew it was going to be under Sean Edwards, but just the pressure they're taking, but also the physicality around the breakdown is a mess.
Slow call. Let's go.
Well, it's on the 22, so 100%. Ireland were deep in French territory, and then France went 80 with Penno and Dupont linking, Dupont scoring, but disallowed. So it is back in Irish possession with 14 minutes gone.
Balance.
Ireland 0, France 0, but Ireland have 86% possession. They've been camped in the French 22 for the last few minutes, or certainly in the French half, with a number of 22 entries without yield as it stands. Gibson Park feeds a solid scrum. Osborne comes to the left. He's got it, Osborne, and he flips it onto Keenan, who's been very dangerous, Hugo Keenan. He's got his knees to the ground, so France have to release. They're 10 minutes out, Ireland, 5 minutes in from the left touchline. Here's Tyg Byrne, helped out by Doris and by Andrew Porter. 15 minutes in from touch, deep in French territory. Beelum steps past Malvaca. He's carried plenty of ball. The Connacht tight head. Slowish ball. Gibson Park wants a penalty, but Angus Gardner not having it. Prendergast, he flips it out to Peter O'Mahony, who sets it up the blindside flank on his last Aviva Stadium appearance after this stellar career. Caelan Doris has many more appearances, but a 50th cap for the Ireland skipper. Here's Josh van der Fleer, former World Player of the Year, in his red scrum cap. He's just to the right of the post, still there for Gibson Park as Ireland continue to press and probe. Prendergast loses it, France will have it back, and I wonder if France are in the mood to counter-attack here. Dupont finds Ramos, Ramos will kick long and will keep it on. Down the field it goes, and that's another big Irish set, concerted Irish pressure without anything, but they're looking to get right back at it, Ireland. Calvin Nash, as France looking to steal at the breakdown, they're going to get a penalty. Oh, that's excellent. You spoke about the boxing analogy, that's kind of rope-a-dope stuff, isn't it? Soak up the pressure, whack it downfield, get a penalty, and now France, for the first time in ages, can go into the Irish half.
And Chris, all the energy in the kick chase. Of course, the ball bunks us once, but the line is assembled and ready to go 10 metres away as Calvin Nash took that ball back into contact. It's quite an impressive French defence at the moment. I'll be honest, there's a measurement that the teams would use for metres after contact. I think Ireland will be, disappointed with, but they're just not getting any metres beyond. They're being stopped at the line all the time, if not run back beyond it. It is quite an exhibition of defending by this French team.
We've played 16 minutes, Donncha. Look how many tackles France have made, or Ireland have made. Ireland have made 4 tackles, and France have made 81. Wow. It's extraordinary, but it's 0-0. That's the stat that really counts. And France have a bit of ball now. Audrit set up now by Gros, and now Barassi comes from the outside centre channel. That's a decent carry from Barassi. Up to the 22 he goes. France now, they're looking to knock on the Irish door through Flamon. Dupont. Oh, it's a penalty advantage, or was it backwards? Angus Gardner had his arm out. Dupont, it's what he does. He looks like he's going down a blind alley, then somehow makes it all happen. 16 and a bit minutes gone on Sports Extra. Ireland 0, France 0. A Six Nations showdown of the two best teams in Europe for the last 4 or 5 years. Ramos, he's shackled by a few players, including Osborne. There was a rip, so it was back on the Ireland side, then back with France, who still have it. It's their best attack by miles in the opening stages of the game. And Tamak out to the idiosyncratic, graceful running of Damien Penaud, but this Irish defence is good as Moefana tries to set it up. But Ireland have managed to repel France a fair few metres, and they try and work a pattern here. Again, France look a little bit isolated as Henshaw looks to steal. Malvaca picks and goes. Bodies everywhere at the breakdown. Dupont going himself and getting the offload away. But I think he has still got it. Have they through Boudahan? Ireland looking for the penalty, and they've got a turnover instead. Caelan Doris with the turnover, and the Aviva Stadium approve. Here's Prendergast to Jamie Osborne, who's got a left boot, and he whacks it downfield. Okay. Romain Ntamack, come in, Donncha.
Yeah, I think France will be frustrated. Didn't seem a whole lot of advantage in that penalty, and to lose the ball and turn over.
I wonder if Angus Gardner was just dictated backwards, but I'm like you, I definitely saw his arm out. A bit of kicking now as Ntamack kicks, then Prendergast dribbles it through, and after all that, with 18 minutes gone, Ireland 0, France 0, as both defences going about their business with ridiculous intensity.
Great innings by young Jamie Osborne. New in, played a lot of different positions, but adding real value there in kind of coming up high and forcing the French team back into the likes of Caelan Doris, able to turn over that ball.
France win the line out right below us here. We're peering over the top of this French maul, which is on their own 10-metre line, a few metres in from this near touchline. France playing from left to right in their royal blue. Dupont is shaping to kick. He's going to have a chaser in Penaud. It's a tester for Osborne. He doesn't play much at wing, but he has played fullback. Oh, Penaud's done so well, and Moefana's onto that. And if France can resource this ruck, Ireland are in trouble. The ball was out, and that's a brilliant turnover. Magnificent work on the floor. Ireland at the breakdown have had a couple of key interventions in the last few moments. That would have been so dangerous if France had got that back. Instead, it's fed from Gibson Park to Osborne, who clears down the throat of Dupont. Will he kick? No, he's going to counter-attack. Halfway line. Oh, lovely passing. Dupont and Ntamack. Ramos tries to skim McCarthy, gets it away to Pierre Biarri. He kicks Pierre Biarri. It dribbles down the left touchline. There's a penalty advantage, is there? Angus Gardner's got his arm out. Yes, he's given a penalty. I wonder if Bielbiarri was obstructed, but that was class. Dupont and Untamak saw the space, as did Ramos, and it's going to be a penalty to France on the 22, just in from the far touchline. Donncha O'Callaghan.
Yeah, from an Irish point of view, they'll take that. It just shows, Chris, how quickly they can light up. Incredible work and pulling and trying to keep it out. Joe McCarthy, you try to get in the channel, but you just can't do that, Chris. You really can't. And I wonder, is that worth a look by the referee?
I think it is, and I think they're looking at it because it's fairly kind of
look at the actions of
egregious foul play, isn't it? It's cynical, and he might well be going to the bin.
Opportunity, so can we have a look at that on the screen? See if it's cynical.
Coming to screen now.
I mean, Angus Gardner got it, so he knew that there was an offence from McCarthy, but I think he'd seen the screen and gone, actually, it's a bit more cynical, a bit more blatant than maybe he thought on first viewing.
It absolutely is. You can get your body in the way, but Joe hasn't earned the right there. That is a blatant
yellow card, Donncha.
Yeah, that's an absolute yellow card. They're the moments where you need to be cool and calm. But
back to you, mate. Just stand by.
Yeah, he's given Ramos a real tug. Ramos has hit the deck.
So
let's listen in.
For me, the actions of four are cynical and deliberate. Pull back the French player, it's going to be a yellow card. Number 4.
Well, this is why Test rugby at its best is just so compelling. The momentum shifts, the swings. Ireland had all that play. France kept them out, and then now down the other end with a penalty, they'll put it to the corner, and the big lock is in the bin as well.
Absolutely, you're a guy that you look to break up all miles, but we did get the right decision there. That decision was correct and right. Whatever about Joe getting in the passing space or slowing the player up, you cannot pull them back like that. And that could be a costly 10 minutes for this Irish team, because the French team are coming to life here and kick about 8 metres out. Every chance here for this big pack.
Well, who would have thought 20 minutes exactly gone, it would be Ireland 0, France 0, but we've been on the edge of our seats. You cannot take your eyes off this contest. Allaire Le Bleu, there's loads of French in. How good is that to see? As Boudehon takes it at the tail. France looking to maul this, they're pretty well set. Aldreet's on it, they've got a penalty advantage. This looks ominous for Ireland, now back and they're motoring forward. They're in trouble here, Ireland. Dupont peels to the left, still Dupont, great ball, Bielbiarri scores, France on the board. That's lethal from the French.
Absolutely, well worked. Looks so threatening, Chris. Even the maul itself was still rumbling forward, but Dupont with all the smarts, the late change and a brilliant finish in the corner.
18th cap, 16th try.
Wow.
For this youngster, age 21. Dupont put it on a plate and he scooted over to put France on the board. And with France a man down, and with Ireland a man down, that is how to take advantage.
Absolutely, but it's the excitement to the back. Even if they're always behind, they're running lines, they're moving late, it is such a threat for that Irish team. It's hard enough with 15, but when you go down to 14, I worried could they have even gone over from the maul, but this French team can cut you open anyway.
Well, all we wanted was a great contest with both teams at their best. And France, having butchered so many chances at Twickenham, do not look in the mood to let Ireland off the hook. As I say that, Ramos' kick just slides wide, but a tricky one from the touchline. Ireland 0, France 5. And if we look at the stats, Ireland 68% possession. France have made 82 tackles to Ireland 17, but Ireland 0, France 5 is the one that matters.
Absolutely, and we chatted about emotional. Well, there's emotional energy in this as well. You know, Ireland have fired shots and they've come away with nothing.
How tough's that as a player?
Yeah, it is. That's where you actually see temperament. That's where you see the good ones, the ones that step up, that can leave the moments behind and move on and just worry about the next ball, and that's what we need.
Kick-off Prendergast taken by the French. So on that's where the experienced men, I imagine, are key to say to the youngsters, look, it's all right, we know what we're about, we can come back and score again, we can get back and turn our pressure into points.
But you're right, Chris, and you saw them, you know, the time was used up for the kick, but the Irish group stayed in together afterwards. But the French are up here, you can hear them singing in the stadium. They're looking for their team now to be inspired.
Yeah, it was a really good clearance kick by the French. That was an excellent exit. That's what, you know, coaches and players always say, when you score, that's the job, but then the next one is to get the kick off and make sure you don't give the point straight back to the opposition. Great noise around the Aviva. as I touched upon in the build-up, there weren't loads of English in the stadium on the opening weekend. There are loads of French in. They've gone over the channel by hook or by crook. They've gone in the stadium. How cool is that?
Absolutely brilliant. It's making for a great occasion.
Ireland 0, France 5, but Ireland are down a man. Joe McCarthy has almost 7 minutes of his sin bin still to sit out. So Gibson Park perhaps sensibly playing some territory, hoists it into this beautifully mild Dublin air. Bielbiarri, that was a risky strategy to tap it back to Ramos. Ramos is then absolutely levelled by Tadhg Beirne. What is that? Bielbiarri's done a cross pass to Penaud, and Penaud's cleared it. That is ludicrous. It's a decent kick, they've got away with it, but he's done a crossfield kick from basically his own line. That is nuts.
A crossfield kick that went backwards, so it was
just ridiculous.
He just didn't fancy putting it off his left, so he put it to his boot. It was an incredible bit of skill, but just shows the confidence.
Hey guys.
Ireland line out right below us here. I mean, I just don't know what's going on there, but look, it's paid off. Penaud's cleared. It's got an agricultural boot, Penaud, but it seems to do the job. Ireland in a huddle. Dan Sheehan prepares to throw. What do you want here? More, or do you think they can play from 40?
No, I think they're looking at a 4-man line out here. So they obviously have a bit of a launch play, but very slow to get to the line out, especially with these new rules are enforcing.
Peter O'Mahony doesn't claim it cleanly, but Sheehan tidies up. Gibson Park switch from Prendergast to Aki. Jamie Osborne on his left, but that's a nothing move really, because Dupont can mark this.
Yeah, an absolute blunt strike play, and you could see it even just walking into the line-out. Dupont keeping the ball on play, and as you said, Chris, long and on down to Sam Prendergast.
Prendergast, he sends a high kick up. This is a tester for Ramos. Ramos's eyes glued on it. Up goes Keane. Great contest. I think that's maybe been knocked on by Ramos to Budahoff, but the referee's happy. And France just getting one or two little bounces going their way. And are they going to play it from their own half here? Ramos. Penaud, wide ball over to the far side. Barassi's almost got away. What an offload to Moefana. Moefana kicks. Prendergast is heading back. Good kick. Pins Ireland back. That's excellent from the French.
Amazing kick as well on the end of it. The attack play is great. You worry, did they actually miss the overlap and not put it through the hands? No, they just want to get to that width really quickly. But the kick to keep it in play, put Ireland under unbelievable pressure and just keep the ball on play, and really difficult. So brilliant play by France.
Let's go.
Pressure now on the Irish line now. Only 14 and a half minutes to go until half time. We'll be live in Edinburgh with Sarah Orchard and the team, building up to our second commentary of the day. It's rugby all the way on Sports Extra, BBC Sounds, the BBC Sport website and app as well, as Ireland do win it at the line out from Gibson Park to Van der Fleer, who's tackled by Crowe, and Ireland have set up a reasonable platform for Gibson Park or Prendergast to clear, but in keeping with the rest of the tournament, he's taken a lot of kicking himself, hasn't he, Gibson Park, and that's a solid clearance.
And his kicking is amazing. Of course, we'll chat about maybe some Sam Prendergast and exits, but when he kicks long to keep it in the air, his hang time's incredible, and just the assurance with a young 10 there for Gibson Park to put his boot to ball and bring it up to the 10-metre line. But incredible work by him.
Yeah, he's having a stormer of a tournament, is Gibson Park, player of the match a couple of times, shoe-in for that Lions tour at the moment. They throw to the tail, France, great take, Paul Budahoff, the La Rochelle man, Champions Cup winner. Good drive now coming from the French, who mean business in Dublin, make no mistake. France are here to spoil this Irish party, and they've gone 10-15 metres, and Irish bodies are splintering out the maul. Dupont finds Moefana, little post to Ntamak, who's sweeping round. Bielbiarri, the try scorer, gets it to Ramos. Ramos had Penaud outside. Good read, Robbie Henshaw, but they are lurking with intent, the French backs. Oh, what a reverse pass from Dupont, that's genius. Out from Ntamak to Moefana, just starting to cook with a little bit of gas here, the men in blue. They lead by 5 with 27 compelling minutes gone at the Aviva. Dupont fizzes across the face of the Irish line, and he's having a conversation with Penaud and Bielbiarri as if to saying, come on lads, read me. That didn't quite get a hand, Irish line out.
Absolutely, it looks like he throws it into touch. We just seen a replay here of his reverse pass, which was incredible. But he's putting the ball there, Chris, where he wants them to run. He has spotted the hole, and he's disappointed with his teammates for not exploiting it.
And the amazing thing about being in the ground like we are, Donica, with this great view, there was actually an inside ball. I mean, I even thought Dupont might look to do a little George Gregan inside, because France are just looking very menacing with the ball in hand. They've not had loads of the ball, but they've now had a concerted spell of territory and pressure. They've got their try, and they're keeping Ireland down in their own 22 for now. Sheehan tried to storm away. They're asking loads of Osborne with the boot. That's just up the side a little bit from Jamie Osborne, but it's not too bad. It will, though, keep the pressure from France onto Ireland with a line out in between the 10 and the 22 in Irish territory.
Yeah, you wonder, Chris, are this Irish team a little bit rattled? Of course, a few late changes, but you're right. Massive pressure on young Jamie Osborne to exit every time. At least if there's options there for him, maybe Gibson Park we've seen exiting as well, or Sam stepping up. But yeah, definitely with the late changes and moments like that, it could be difficult.
Well, this is a massive, massive, massive moment, because Antoine Dupont is down. He made the tackle on Sheehan. There was then a clearance, and Angus Gardner wants play to continue even though Dupont is prone, with a couple of French medics in Ireland's 22. He obviously got a bang in that clear out, and the question is, can he shake it off, or is this more damaging? And if it is, at least they've got a 9 to cover, but that means they don't have any backs left on the bench if he's got to go off, and they lose their best player. He's standing up to
Dupont. In the clear out.
Oh, he's not going to make it, is he? He's not going to make it. Oh, this is a desperately sad sight. The great Antoine Dupont is being helped off. Applause from all around the Aviva. Fabien Galtey motionless, and Antoine Dupont will play no further part in this contest. And can France win Dublin without him? Half an hour gone, Ireland 0, France 5. Luku on for Dupont. Luku 9 for 9, which is one thing, but it now leaves France without any backline replacements, and it leaves them without their kingpin.
Absolutely, Chris. It just swings momentum now. We go back to the 7-1 again. I hate to bring it up, but what you're thinking, they have to make the game with no backs left in it, and we're very early on as well to lose someone like him, a massive loss for France.
That's seismic. If you think how much France struggled last year's championship without Dupont, what pressure on Luku, who sends his first pass into the midfield, wide pass to Mo Fofana, Barassi short ball to Aldred, who runs into Aki. Oh, that's a good carry, Greg Aldred. I think he's got his knee to the ground, or has he called a maul, Angus Gardner? What's he going to decide here? Well, it's there for France, so he doesn't have to make a decision. And Tamak steps, and you spoke about Ireland being a little bit rattled. I wonder how much losing Dupont will rattle France in turn.
Yeah, but brilliant moments then by like Aldred there.
Yeah, great carry Aldred, and he flips it on now to Jean-Baptiste Gros, and they're up to the 22, and it's a nice ball to the, oh no, not quite, they worked it to the right to Barassi, who's then caught by Prendergast and Gibson Park. He gets it to ground. Luku just short of the 22 as France set it up. Luku spins it to Aldred, who's static. I wonder if already there's some tiredness in the legs of both sets of players. After half an hour, fierce minute, lovely ball, Ramos gets it away to Mo Fofana. He goes on, lovely switch to Biel Biarri, he's got pace, he's kicked ahead, it's gone too far. The French fans want a penalty. Angus Gardner not interested, it'll be a 22 dropout. But Biel Biarri, Donncha, when he gets on the ball, the place comes alive.
It looks like he's in super speed, Chris, doesn't it? His ability, his top end running is incredible, but his ability to get quick really fast is quite incredible. Joe McCarthy runs back on.
Well, Joe McCarthy's on. Peter O'Mahony was the one who felled Biel Biarri.
Let's go.
And I suppose he could say he was trying to charge down, but it wasn't the most kind of textbook tackle from O'Mahony. The officials seem happy. One of those games where so much is going on for the ref that he can't see everything. Drop off by Ireland, taken by Flamont. Flamont had Aldrich with him, but he sets it up. 10-metre line, Irish half. Ireland 0, France 5. 9.5 minutes to go till half-time. There for France, who are just picking and going around the side of the ruck through Pietro Malvaca, their effervescent hooker. Luku out the back to Ntamak. Ramos puts a little kick through. Prendergast intercepts it, and he gets away. Sam Prendergast almost offloads to Osborne. Osborne tackled into touch, was he, by Francois Pro? He was. What's the verdict from Matt Carley? Matt Carley on this near side, the English official. Christophe Ridley on the far side. It's going to be an Ireland line-up.
Great bit of smarts by Jamie Osborne, just about to go over the touchline, keeps the ball in play, tries to touch it off one of the French players so they get the line out. Chris, you've all the feeling that the next maybe 3 to 4 minutes is the game. It really does feel like momentum is quite flat at the moment. It is crying out for someone to grab this game.
Who's going to grab it? As Sam Prendergast puts a Gary Owen up from inside his own half. Forward comes Penno, he knocks it on. That's going to be a penalty, is it? No, there was open play, but as there was a knock-on, that did have a few French players offside potentially. Either way, just the knock-on is the call from referee Gardner. 5 metres in from the touchline, just short of the halfway line. Finlay Bealham, good handoff, shrugs off Paul Budahon, then it coughs out the ruck. But as it was a scrum advantage, that might be it, and Ireland will use it. Charge down, no, that wasn't an advantage. Angus Gardner played a very long knock-on advantage, but the charge from Aldrit to Gibson Park ultimately inconsequential. So it will be a scrum Ireland just short of the halfway line. 8 minutes till the break. Ireland 0, France 5.
I think Aldred very hard done by there with that block down. You know, you think the advantage, I know they didn't go much distance forward, but there was certainly enough time. But these players are out on their feet at the moment. You just look around the place, there's a number of people taking water and getting treatment. It has been an incredible 32 minutes of so intense, Chris.
Let's listen to Angus Gardner with Caelan Doris.
Okay, I'm not trying to dismiss you or be negative. That's why I ask it, because I need my absolute concentration in that moment. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I'm keeping 8-10 minutes distance. I'm not.
I need you 15. Okay. Is that cool?
Yeah, and you happy? I've only come to you twice. Other than that.
Yeah. It's just when I go to the TMO. Okay. Do you understand why?
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate your understanding. Okay.
Interesting moment there. Could have Angus Gardner almost admonishing Caelan Doris.
Mate,
I wonder if he felt there's been too much in his ear. Aldridge said, look, I've only come to you a couple of times.
We reviewed it, and mate, sometimes in rugby, as unfortunate it is, mate, people get injured, and so I completely understand. Yeah.
Okay, and is Aldridge asking about the clear on Dupont? Did Ireland target his lower legs? There's so much going on. And Angus Gardner's almost saying to both captains, look, I know loads is going on, you've just got to bear with me here.
Absolutely, and that's exactly what I said to Doris. I need my full attention in the moment, so I know you're going to challenge something. I will come to you in time, but give me the space to be able to do my job. And I think it's a great way for him to do it, and really well explained.
Okay, guys, we haven't had a scrum for a while, so break foot's out.
Let's hope there was nothing untoward in that Dupont, in that clearance. Let's hope it was just a rugby incident. Because Aldridge, I think, did point to where the incident took place, just to say, have you checked it? And Angus Gardner said, it was checked, or if it was missed, it was missed, and we play on. Right, Ireland 0, France 5. 32 and a half minutes gone. Packed out of Beaver Stadium. BBC Sounds, 5 Sports Extra, BBC Sport website, live in Dublin as Ireland attack. Osborne's off his wing, kicks for Nash. It might sit up for Nash. It does sit up for Nash. Far a ricochet. Nash gets it to Osborne. He offloads. It's loose, but it's in Irish possession through Robbie Henshaw, who's just short of the 22. Ireland pointless for the first half an hour plus, but again they're making an insertion. McCarthy, this excellent French defence holding firm. The first 10-15 minutes were an Irish onslaught, but France held them out. Kicked through by Ireland. Ramos in the backfield. He hooks it to touch. Penalty to Ireland. There was an early tackle in there by Paul Budahon. And now it's another big decision, Donnachar O'Callaghan. 94 Ireland caps. You've had a million of these in your career. Is this a corner? Is this a kick? Is this getting on the board?
7 tackle off the ball.
What are you saying? It's 15 minutes in on the 22.
Yeah, personally for me, I would take my points. The amount of energy you use, the amount of time this pack have given it, you do have to reward them, Chris. You have to look after them, and you have to make sure that you're managing their energy and their, and keeping them in the right place. And this is the right thing to do. Big pressure though now on Sam after missing the first kick. This, over on the far left-hand side, or right-hand side could be quite a difficult kick, especially with how disappointing probably the last one was.
Yeah, just seeing a replay of that, this Tyg burn on Antoine Dupont, I think that'll be a talking point going forward. It might well be that Byrne's just trying to clear him out and it was an accident. French fans may disagree. Ireland are on the board though. Sam Prendergast, Ireland 3, France 5. And that does seem a sensible move, not just because he's kicked it, but this game could go down to the wire and you can kick to the corner all you like, but at some point you've got to cut your losses.
Absolutely. Scoreboard pressure really matters as well. France thinking we've lost one of our greatest leaders, one of our greatest players. We've given it everything in defence, but we're only 2 points up. Smart decision to take the points there.
5 minutes till half-time. Ireland 3, France 5. Not been as high scoring as we may have expected, but there's been a level of intensity as France get the penalty. Ireland obstructing, and surely if you're France, I know it's close to the sideline, Donica, but Ramos is such an accurate kicker, they can just cancel out that Prendergast kick instantly.
Yeah, exactly, Chris. Not what you want. You said it. When you shelf scores, when you take them on, you want to receive the kick-off and make sure the next moment is great. And that was a bit soft. It really was. Of course, you want to leave the ball for your kicking boot on Osborne, but you have to make at least a contest to go for it. And there is moments in this game where Ireland are coming up with some silly plays.
Yeah, kind of nervous hush around the Aviva. The camera pans to Simon Easterby, Penny for his thoughts. Key part of the backroom team, but this is another level when you're the head man, stepping in for Andy Farrell, on the verge of Six Nations greatness. But France can take their lead out. Ramos, it's a beautiful strike, no doubt. Kicks it into the French fans behind the post. Ireland 3, France 8. Edging towards half-time, Donica O'Callaghan.
He split the post there. It's just a lesson for Ireland. You just cannot be indisciplined. He will knock it over from anywhere. And just all the good work done. And straight away France back in the game and leading out in an 8-3 lead.
3.5 minutes left of this first half. A 5-point lead as Ramos just whacks it, his boot through it. Sometimes France looks so tactically disciplined, and then sometimes they do a cross kick on their own line. It's hard to get your head around the French team sometimes, but that was good from Ramos.
Yeah, but you're right, even the style of it, it looks like he just throws it at his boot.
Well, they've just flashed up a Six Nations table as it stands. It would be France with 15 points, Ireland 15 points going to the final day, but France with this enormous points difference advantage. It would mean that it'd be all in their hands at home to Scotland late on the Saturday, the third game. Angus Gardner, he was about to give a penalty but then didn't. Ireland attack, 10-metre line, nice little shape, prodded through by Prendergast. Biel Biarri has gathered that quite nicely, the left winger sweeping around the backfield. He kicks it downfield where Hugo Keenan in his yellow boots almost gets caught but finds Prendergast, who tries to go outside. Barassi, big tackle coming in though. A combination of Biel Biarri and Crowe. Penno's gone quickly to Ramos, and Ramos does a really weird banana kick. There was so much space, practically the pump plate didn't want to kick it, was down the throat of Osborne, whose kick is really well weighted because it's not going dead. Penno, what's he going to do? Damien Penno, heart in mouth stuff, he's caught by Osborne. Doris on the ball, it's spat out of the ruck, and it's going to be a France line out. I mean, Matt Carney's not made a call yet. We can't say for sure. He's not put his arm in either direction, but it has taken play right down to the French line. It was knocked on into touch by Ireland. Doris is in the ref's ear again.
Can't get you.
And Angus Gardner. What's knock on? We haven't got a call yet. Okay, knock on. France have an option, liner or scrum. What are they going to take?
It's a knock on into touch.
Okay,
Gregory,
we've got a call.
Yeah. It is very difficult for the referee. We know he's under pressure, but you just want him to make a decision at some point. Of course, we've our team Owen, you'd hope he'd be strongly supported. But there was a moment there when no one knew what was happening. Very difficult to do. Brilliant by Jamie Osborne. Whatever about his kick, to chase it as well as he did, and to turn over the ball that high up the pitch. Really relieving some of the pressure for that Irish team.
Okay, France scrum, massive French scrum, just over a minute to go, and you can sense, listen to the noise pick up around the Aviva. They know the significance of this. If France can hold out, they go in with a 5-point lead, but can Ireland get something right before half-time and bounce down the tunnel? Set is the call from referee Gardner. It's a solid scrum, lock solid from both teams, and Luku has got time, and he clears long down the pitch, down the throat though of Keenan. He did look for touch. Final minute of the first half. Ireland 3, France 8. Keenan throws a dummy, runs into Aldred. Good clearing from Ireland. Doris offloads to Gibson Park, who slings it to Prendergast, who puts a kick that's gone too far. Ramos will gobble this up, and he might be able to eat down the clock to half time.
Yeah, just a bit flat. You have to commend this French kick chase, just how high they get up in the pitch, forcing the likes of Sam Prendergast there to just turn over the ball and kick it down the pitch. But difficult moments for that Irish team.
But what's confusing about that is that Ireland are offloading as if they're trying to put tempo on it, and then Prendergast is putting up a Gary Owen, as if he's got slow ball. It just feels they're not quite there.
I agree, Chris, and it's always something that happens in round 4. You can't do what you did for the previous 3 rounds. You have to have a few wrinkles. Everyone has done their video work, everyone is aware, and that's what we're seeing a little bit. This Irish team are looking to offload way more than they have done before.
Ireland line out Sheehan, nice drill, Tyke Byrne. O'Mahony to Caelan Doris on the 10-metre line, steps off his left boot. The clock is up. Will Ireland keep playing? A penalty here would give Ramos a chance, but Ireland could get into the French half and have a go themselves. Gibson Park to the right, Andrew Porter. Advantage, they've got that penalty as France go offside. Their line speed just a little bit too eager. Prendergast kicks for himself, doesn't claim it, and it will be an Irish line out. Prendergast doesn't have the legs from here, but he can kick it up to the 22 and Ireland can end the half in French territory.
Absolutely, exactly what they would have wanted. Worrying signs here. Andrew Porter down, receiving a bit of attention.
Yeah, the mark's right on the halfway.
Right on the halfway line is the call from referee Garner. As you say, Donica, Porter getting some treatment. Was he going to have a shot here?
If it's there,
I thought it was a bit deeper inside the half, but if it's halfway, it might be bang on at the edge of his range.
There you go, he has.
He's going for a shot, which would take the gap to 2 on half-time. They need Porter, don't they? I mean, Cian Healy, 137th cap today, age 37.
To get him to move.
His penultimate game for his country. What a servant Healy's been. What a servant Porter is at the moment. He always goes so deep into games, can play both sides. He's a machine.
Get out of here. I'll go
okay,
on
Prendergast on halfway. It is on the end of the Guinness 0 logo.
Yes, good call,
and
mate.
as we always get in Dublin, this hush around the ground. Sam Prendergast missed one, he's kicked one. This is the trickiest one yet.
Good.
As he belts it, has he got the distance? Oh, by miles! It's going to sneak in, what a kick! Sam Prendergast, big moment, big momentum boost for Ireland. Half-time, Ireland 6, France 8.
Yeah, incredible. It seems crazy to say it, with all the possession, with all the territory. I think this Irish team will be happy to go down the tunnel only behind by 2 points. It has been an incredible attritional half. It's going to come down to a moment, Chris, isn't it?
Well, let's try and sum up that half before we check in with Sarah and the team in Edinburgh. Kind of a half of 2 halves. Ireland stormed out the blocks, had loads of play, but repelled by this French defensive wall, held up over the line, weren't able to execute. France had tried this and allowed Dupont. Then they score a sucker punch try of their own from Pierre Biarri after a rare incursion into Irish territory. They then have a load of ball, France, and ask questions of Ireland. Big moment, Dupont going off injured. Ireland get on the board. Prendergast cancelled out by Ramos. Prendergast on the stroke of half-time. Not as high scoring, not as free-flowing, but just intense to be expected. 2 points in it at the break.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, Chris, you look at the whole course of this game and how it's going to play out, and you just think the work being done by certainly France's defence is going to reap rewards, especially with the way they've tugged out their bench. You just think that, you mentioned that there, Porter's pulling up now, and he's a guy that goes deep into games, badly required. It was a wild half. It really was. It was so attritional. It's one that you'd nearly need to watch back because there's plenty going on in it.
Yeah, I think we need 5, don't we? but we'll before we resume at the second half, just one more before we go to Edinburgh. You think this is such on a knife edge that especially when we get past the 50-60 minute mark, do you see it as one of those test matches where every single moment could be decisive?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're chatting even early on in the game, missing the kick, the yellow card, stuff like that. You just can't have a moment now. This game's going to be in the hopper, especially in the next 10 minutes of this half, and it's how the teams can come out. Because to be fair, I feel Ireland haven't launched all that well, but I think they'll be glad with how they've gone into that half, even though they're 2 points down.
It was impossible to predict before the game. It's impossible to predict at half-time. 2 points in it. Right, Sarah, in Edinburgh. You're glued to this one, I imagine.
We might have you going up on our ears. We've managed to sync the pictures to work with you, Chris. Yes, we're keeping across everything in Dublin, but we're going to let you guys go and get a nice cup of tea, refresh yourselves, because I'm delighted to say here on Sports Extra, we're going to take you through half-time with BBC Scotland's Tom English. How are you, Tom, as they just start dribbling into Murrayfield here?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I mean, listen, engrossed like the lads in Dublin, engrossed with that first half of rugby. That was just bonkers, wasn't it? It was intense from the first kick to the last. I'm not sure it's going to be as intense today. Not as much riding on it, of course. But I would imagine that Matt Sherratt and Gregor Townsend would disagree with that statement. There's no silverware on offer, but there's still a lot to play for.
Well, Tom and I are going to talk you through this fixture. Kick-off here at Murrayfield between Scotland and Wales is at 4:45. Just a reminder of the two sides. Scotland only one change for them. Darcy Graham coming back in after he was rested for round 3 after that head knock. As for Wales, the big headline from them, an unchanged 15. The first time since 2019 they have named the same 15. That is such an incredible statistic, but also maybe tells a story of how, look, there's injuries that happen. There's nothing you can do about some changes, but that says an awful lot about how settled this squad has been under Matt Sherratt.
Yeah, I mean, completely unsettled under Warren Gatland, who, tried to put a lot of square pegs into round holes, tried to, I would say, project players into the test match arena that weren't ready for it. Made a lot of mistakes in his second incarnation as Wales head coach. Sherratt has kind of calmed everything down. He seems to have brought the smiles back on Welsh faces. The players are playing in their rightful positions. Even though they didn't win against Ireland, the fact that they produced such a mature attacking game after a couple of sessions was astounding. So I think that performance won an awful lot of respect around the Six Nations. I think an awful lot of surprise. And maybe were Ireland complacent? Maybe they were, maybe. But I thought Wales were terrific, absolutely terrific in that game. Really good.
Well, we are talking about Wales here, and we are talking about Matt Sherratt. So why don't we hear from him? Because the feeling from outside is that the quality of that Welsh display against Ireland, even in defeat, could be transformative, and it's really raised expectations of what could happen this afternoon. So what does Sherratt think of that?
I've sensed a lot of positivity, which has been brilliant for the players. Probably on that as well. I think there's been a lot made of obviously having 3 training sessions, but I've got to say the staff as a whole have been brilliant. It's not been about me coming in at all. The other coaches, our defence was excellent against Ireland. Set piece very good, thanks to Humps and Bomb. TR's coming in, done a lot of the forward skills, so a lot of the phase shape has been coached by him. The medics, S&C analysts have been outstanding, like really supportive to me, and got right behind the players. So I think the players have definitely felt that support from the staff, and probably the icing on the cake, the support from the country as a whole as well. So I think that's given the players a major boost. As you said, it may add a little bit of expectation, but I think the players have got that themselves anyway. They want to go up to Scotland and build on what we've done rather than let last week be last week.
Matt Sherratt, the interim Wales head coach, speaking there earlier this week. Before we move on to Scotland, I've loved your writing on this fixture on the BBC Sport website in the build-up to this. And Tom, I've been in a few hotels throughout this Six Nations campaign. I've been with miserable Welsh fans. Last night when I arrived in Scotland quite late, there were smiles, there was excitement around this fixture. For everything a Scotland fan is thinking today, for Wales, it does seem as if the trajectory is moving upwards finally.
Yeah, but it's one game. It's one game, and the game. Let's not forget they lost the game. But I
didn't say it was steep.
So yeah, I mean, but I can understand that, because what they've endured the 14 games leading up to that Ireland game was just misery after misery after misery. Not a lot of hope, very little optimism. And then they produced this performance against Ireland, which was all of those things. And they did a job in Ireland for a large part of it. They came close to winning the game. Their scrum all of a sudden was reborn. I think they won 4 scrum penalties off the Ireland scrum. They looked a very dangerous team. So no wonder the Welsh fans are going, well, maybe this is the start of something. But it's one game, and it's at home, and there's backs to the wall. and it was a full Principality Stadium, screaming their heads off, all the emotion, all that stuff they would have fed out, they would have feasted on that all week. It's different here. You know, there's going to be a very good Welsh crowd here, but it's going to be a lot of loud Scots in the stadium. So whether they can find that emotional pitch today like they did a couple of weeks ago, that's a big question.
And just on emotion, you wrote this week that for Wales, for Scotland, this is a must-win game.
Yeah.
Why is it a must-win game for Scotland when they've already got one in the bag, they're trucking along nicely, but this is same old, same old?
Well, it's a must-win because if they lose it, that's them 1 from 4 going to Paris. Okay, I don't want to be fatalist about that, but say 1 from 5. Now, last season it was 2 from 5. The season before that it was 3 from 5. That's going in the wrong direction. And I think there'll be a fair few Scottish fans who are going, look, somebody else needs to have a go at this. Gregor Townsend has 8 seasons, 8 Six Nations championships. It's time for a new voice. He's done a lot of good, an awful lot of good. Somebody else needs to come in and see if they can crack the code of why Scotland can't become contenders in this championship. I'm not sure anybody else would, but I could understand the argument that somebody else should be given a chance.
And I know some people love and some people hate statistics, but when you look at Scotland on paper, they look good. And I'll read out some of these. They are first in the Six Nations for fewest tries conceded. They are first for fewest tackles missed. They are first for most ball carries. They are second for metres gained, second for line breaks, second for breakdown steals, second for tries scored. It sounds brilliant.
Yeah, it does. And Scotland have a capacity to be brilliant. They can score tries, like they scored 3 of them against England. World-class tries, like tries that would. These are the kind of tries that made us fall in love with rugby in the first place. Nobody fell in love with rugby because of the attrition and the hits and the scrums and the lineouts and the mauls. We fell in love with.
Never say that to a front row forward, but okay. I take your point.
Apologies to all front row forwards out there. But that, the Elan, the French Elan and the Scottish Elan under Gregor Townsend has been brilliant, but they can't sustain it. They don't have the forward pack. They haven't had the forward pack to grind their way through difficult games when the flashy stuff is not working, i.e. Ireland. Ireland never fall for the Scotland wide game. They just turn up, they beat them up, and then they go home. And Scotland have never found a way through that. They've done it against England. Occasionally they've done it against France. They've done it back-to-back against Wales. Ireland is the big one, and they can't crack that nut.
No, Ireland just play in the middle of the field. They don't even look at the outsides at all. They just go straight
exactly.
through.
They just smash Scotland and they shut them down.
Interestingly enough, if you're just joining us here on Sports Extra, half-time at the moment in Dublin. It's Ireland 6, France 8. The big headline from that one is Antoine Dupont has had to go off injured, so that 7-1 split is looking a little bit of a worrying decision from Fabien Galtier. We'll be back to the Aviva Stadium shortly. But something really significant from that match is I turned around to Tom, who was watching that with me, and Prendergast missed his first kick at goal. I was like, well, that's his Lions tour over. A little bit with irony.
You said that. I didn't say it.
It was with irony because that's the kind of narrative we have in this Six Nations, because that brings me on to Finn Russell and his kicking against England. I mean, it was an off day. Everyone has allowed them 3 missed. But when it comes to Lions and fly halves, I mean, before this tournament started, he was the Lions starting fly half. Is he now?
Yeah, he is. For me, I mean, I'm not the Lions coach, so don't take my word for it. But I think Sam Prendergast is coming up on the rails, and I think Finn Smith is coming up on the rails. For me, if you put Finn Russell behind a Lions pack against Australia, Finn Russell dominates. He is a wondrous player. And I don't understand why some people just want to talk him out of the squad or out of the team. He's still a magnificent player. Like he missed 3 kicks against England. Fine. Last season he was 90-something% with the boot. Missed 1 kick in the entire championship. I bet you he'll kick well today. He's just a brilliant player. He's absolutely the Lions 10 for me.
Okay, well, let's hear from him, because his performances are being scrutinised more than any other right now. How's he found all of that noise after those Twickenham mishaps?
I'm not too stressed about what's been said about my game. As long as I'm happy with it myself, then that's kind of all that matters. And to be fair to me, I go back to my family and friends, and they're the ones that are kind of the first to either pick me up or put me down either way, depending on how it goes. So I think my dad was saying, like, unlucky with the kick kind of thing, but you played really well overall. So for me, that means more than what others say. So was it last year when we weren't allowed to try against France that sort of put us out in title contention, and then against England losing that game as well. So I think it's such small margins at this level, and I think we need to, as a team, we need to get better. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But I think when we do get our chances, take them and have that ruthless edge about you that a lot of people talk about, the teams talk about, but it's tough to actually do. I think looking back at the England game, we're looking at what we could have done differently, and how do we change to looking back in a positive way, like, yeah, we did that differently, we actually learned from our mistakes, and we got the result that we needed to. And I think that's, it's a team, we say we're growing, we're developing, we come into every tournament hoping that we're going to win it, but I think we do need to learn, and we do need to get better from these games, and it's not an easy thing to do, as I've been here quite a few times now, that's the same kind of story.
Finn Russell there, Scotland fly half, speaking earlier in the week. A reminder that Scotland against Wales kicks off at 4:45. This fixture in Cardiff last year finished Wales 26, Scotland 27. It's quite a tense one from memory, Tom English.
Yeah, not half, yeah.
But on that, what is your score prediction for today before we head back to Dublin?
I think Scotland should win pretty comfortably by 14 points. Finn Russell dominating. Finn Russell played well. Twickenham. People forget that the 3 kicks, he played very well in that game. I think Scotland win pretty comfortably today. Okay,
the voice there of Tom English, who's been with us here at Murrayfield. So a reminder, Scotland against Wales, full commentary here on 5 Sports Extra. I'll be joined by Johnny Beattie and James Hook, but we've got another incredible second half that many are saying will determine where this Six Nations trophy ends up. Half time, it's Ireland 6, France 8. Let's get back to the Aviva Stadium and Chris Jones.
Thanks loads, Sarah, and to Tom English, and you can hear more from Sarah after we are finished here in Dublin. We'll be straight across to Murrayfield for Scotland against Wales. Tom English over on BBC Scotland and on the BBC Sport website, and of course Tom, a Star of the Nations pod, which will be out on Tuesday morning as we go daily up until the end of the 2025 Men's Six Nations. But the players are out. Ireland are preparing to restart. Prendergast has the ball on halfway. Ireland from left to right, France from right to left. 40 minutes left to decide the destiny of this Six Nations Championship. Almost certainly Ireland 6, France 8. Donnacha O'Callaghan, it all comes down to this.
Yeah, it does. Massive 40 minutes in Six Nations rugby. And hopefully it leads on to the second half. I know we're not chatting about end-to-end scoring, but if you're into traditional rugby, we've certainly seen win-at-all-costs rugby.
And if you're just joining us, a reminder that the great Antoine Dupont was injured during the first half, so Maxime Lucu is on. An unfortunate incident. Dupont cleared out,
access is good
and he injured his leg, looked serious, and he will play no further part. And you'd think that puts his involvement next Saturday night against Scotland in grave doubt as well. But all that to come. Ireland 6, France 8 as Prendergast hoists in on this beautifully mild spring afternoon in Dublin. Good contest as referee Gardner. Clever kick, Gibson Park. Advantage over, says the ref. Ramos has it. He's going to banana kick it Juan Martin Hernandez style. But he doesn't get load of distance from a tight angle. Good start to the second half. Donnacha O'Callaghan, line out Ireland.
Yeah, very smart kick by Gibson Park. Just sees the space and exploits it brilliantly. Ramos will be disappointed with the exit, you're right, but I think with that angle he couldn't have done much more with it.
Interesting point made by the Telegraph's Charlie Morgan. Because of that Dupont injury, they're going to have to keep someone back on the bench, aren't they? They can't risk bringing on all their forwards unless there's another injury that will send them down to 14. So plenty for Fabien Galtier to ponder, plenty for the French defence to ponder as Doris smashes into centre field. Nice hands from Van der Fleer, dummy from Prendergast. Into the 22 he goes before being fouled. Sheehan's round the corner. Looks destined for a Lions Test jersey at the moment, does Dan Sheehan. Porter, maybe the same applies to the Irish loosehead. McCarthy thunders into more French tackling. 2 points in it, 2 minutes gone in the second half. Henschel first receiver, Van der Fleer in his red scrum cap steps up his right and goes to about 16 metres from the French line. Prendergast again, flips it on to Calvin Nash. Late inclusion in the side after James Lowe's injury. Oh, they wanted a penalty, France, but Ireland still go. And then it's been lost forward. They've got a penalty, Ireland, for offside. Well, France thought they had something at the breakdown. and then Bielbieri stormed away with it. Aldrit is talking to referee Gardner, but it's going to be an Ireland penalty, only about 15 metres from the French line, near the right touch line.
Yeah, you can see why Aldred is disappointed, and the French supporters here at Gibson Park. You know, old school, maybe throwing the ball into them for not retreating enough. You worry a little bit about the Irish attack. Every Irish player there is inside the inside post, and you know, this French team, you have to find a bit more width with them.
5 metres out, they kick to the corner. Sheehan throws, taken by Tyke Burn. Heave is the cry round Dublin. They're only 2 or 3 metres out, Ireland. Massive moment in the Six Nations as Sheehan scores. He dives in the right corner. He's a try-scoring machine, the Irish have come. Big moment, big try. The Aviva Stadium knows it. Ireland lead.
Brilliant by Dan Sheehan. That ball is going forward all the right. Are with that Irish pack, but you need a moment from someone like that that could have been held up or whatever was needed by the French pack. Dan Sheehan doing enough to break off, go down the short side and have all the strength to get over the line. A brilliant finish by Dan Sheehan. A really important score for Ireland. But now a kick from the touchline from Sam Prendergast.
And we see Simon Easterby, a replay of the Ireland interim head coach, punching the air. Delirious. Ireland 11, France 8. They have a lead of 3. First time Ireland have led this afternoon. 44 minutes gone. Sam Prendergast from the right touchline, up he steps, strikes a beauty. Crowd like it. Prendergast likes it. Ireland lead by 5. 13-8 at the Aviva.
Amazing. We talk about temperament, of course. You know, the disappointing first kick, but that's out in the touchline, and he split the post with a great kick, and it'll do an awful lot for Irish confidence. It certainly has ignited the crowd.
Ireland 13, France 8.
And the loudspeaker confirms Ireland 13, France 8. And France, they took a while to get going at the start of the first half, and they've taken a while to get going at the start of the second. And you just wonder how much they'll be feeling a little bit sorry for themselves with their talisman Antoine Dupont off injured.
K2.
So much goes through Dupont, so much of their attack, so much of their kicking game goes through their number 9. Maxime Lucu will have to fill his considerable shoes as Gibson Park hooks a box kick. Is that going out on the full? Yes, it is. No, it's not. No?
I'll go down first.
Angus Gardner thought it might have been, but referee Matt Carley was happy it bounced infield, and France have the line out in between the 22 and the halfway.
Yeah, Gibson Park will be delighted with that. Complete luck. Terrible kick, and it just bounces on field before going off.
The camera pans to Andy Farrell.
Please to the line. Come on. Yeah.
Penny for his thoughts. Can France reply to that Sheehan try and that wonderful Prendergast conversion? They throw to the front where Budahan takes it, and they get a little bit of a maul going.
Good now.
They've moved this 3 or 4 metres. Referee happy with both sides keeping their discipline. Antonio's in there, so too Malbaka, who peels away, looks for Lucu, but then sets up. He's been isolated. France aren't quite resourcing this ruck. They've got a penalty though, as Doris fell on the wrong side of the ruck. Now a bit of impetus in the French attack. Budahan, big carry, had his arm up on Prendergast. Still advantage being played to France. Mo Fofana, Barassi. He carried from Max pass. Lucu round the short side. Aldrich stormed into the 22. Out the back from Guillard. Advantage being played. Barassi's on the floor. Mo Fofana drives on. As we've said loads of time, everything going on in the Aviva. What an offload from Gros to Lucu. Lucu, what an offload as well. France are up to the line. They've scored. Oh, what a try. What a response from the men in blue. Budahan's got it down. The offloads. Magnificent. And as long as he's got this down cleanly, that'll be a great France try that will bring us all level at 13-all.
Yeah, guys, I got it. Okay, so mate, just to rewind.
So we're looking at
Angus Gardner chatting to his TMO.
11 green.
Okay, so looking at the actions of 11 green, potential foul play on 11 green. Let's have a look at
on
that.
11
That's
green.
correct. Okay.
So foul play on Calvin Nash. Barassi is down injured on this near side. I don't know how there was foul play on Nash when he didn't have the ball, unless it was the carry with the arm up. It's one of those games where the officials just need to try and keep an eye on so much.
Okay.
Let's have a look at the replay.
Still with the foul play first.
Oh, well, Okay, so Barassi's just... that can't be against Barassi, because Barassi's just carrying the ball.
So 11's upright.
I think they're looking at Nash, maybe.
Yeah, he said against... He said on... Yeah, it's got to be against Calvin Nash.
Meets the yellow card threshold for me.
So Nash is too high.
11 green, all agree. Yellow card threshold.
So Nash is getting
Tempo,
sent to the sin bin here. Yeah, it didn't make any sense that Nash was the one who received the
green is upright.
bad
He
tackle.
could have been lower. So we do have foul play, and it does meet our yellow card threshold. So it's going to be a yellow card and not field review.
Okay, so Calvin Nash in the sin bin, Donica.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack here. Nash goes off,
Now,
a brilliant score by France, pivotally important.
Just want to check where
but
the gap came through.
Barassi leaves the pitch, and there's no
because we've dealt with the
back
foul play.
Oh,
left
great
for them.
point. Oh my goodness me, they're going to have to play a flank in the
Okay.
midfield, because Barassi's got to
now
get
we're
an
gonna look at the
HIA.
second thing, which is how the tries scored.
Okay,
So the second thing we're going to look at is we're just going to review the tries. So let's have a look at that on the screen now, please.
and now we're looking at the try. So Nash has definitely gone to the
Plenty to
sin bin,
review.
but very significantly Barassi's gone off too. So they're going to have to bring on the likes of Anthony Jalonche to play centre.
Just working on the angles, Angus, now.
And now,
But Chris, of all the positions, 13 on the rugby pitch, you know, it is the most difficult to play. It really is.
what are they going to do? They maybe move. How they're going to restructure, I'm not sure. We're seeing a replay of this brilliant French score. The offload from the loose edge Jean-Baptiste Gros to Luku was terrific. Oh, and then they found something else. Maybe a clear out from Flamand. That's just a clear. That's surely just a clear out.
What's that?
I wonder, are they looking that if Peter O'Mahony is in that spot, he's trying to retreat?
Not for you. Not for you.
That for me is 100% a clear out. Now O'Mahony is not far away from the ruck. He could be a jackal threat.
So tempo, I've got a decision there.
Here's Angus
Back to you,
Gardner.
Angus.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, mate, I'm going to stick with my on-field decision. I'll tell you why. Because number 6 is retreating backwards. Number 6 is retreating backwards as a matador and get bumped. So the on-field decision stays.
I think that's brave repping, Donica, away from, at a place like Aviva with the crowd wanting a penalty. I think O'Mahony's in the ruck. What says you?
I agree. I think we've got the right call here. I think it was really brave by him because he had a note maybe to look at the crowd on his back, but that is the right call. Peter O'Mahony is pushing, retreating, and cannot win that space. Of course, he's quite smart that he goes up his feet, making it look like he was taken out in the clean. But I don't think that was, any part of that incredible try by France. It needed to be stopped by Ireland in the offloading. It was a brilliant score, and it's, I think right that we see it stand.
Oh, there'll be people who disagree who are watching the pictures and listening to us. It was a very tight one. O'Mahony is lurking around the ruck. He's a jackal threat. It's Peter O'Mahony, of course he is. He's been cleared out very legally in terms of the clear by Flamand. The crowd feel it was an off-the-ball incident. Such a fine margin. Try given, converted Ramos, and this wonderful contest swings which way in that. Ireland 13, France 15, as Luku, who was so instrumental in the try, hacks it downfield. And Cian, is he going to counter-attack here? There'll be some tired legs already 7 minutes into the second half because the game has been ferocious. But keep an eye for us, Donica, how France are setting up with Barassi off.
Yeah, we haven't had a launch play yet, a set piece, and that's where we'll probably see it more. Their defence filling the field has been good all day, but we definitely need some and you wonder, are Ireland thinking like that? Get set piece, let's have a look what this is.
Gibson Park's kick is beautifully claimed by Keenan, and they might be able to attack here. Oscar Jegu he's in the defensive line there at centre, the flanker. Kick forward, Prendergast, nicely done. Not quite 50-22, but drives France backwards. So much little tactical kicking going on from both sets of playmakers. That was good from Prendergast. France are into the line out in their own 22. And just to reiterate, with Antoine Dupont injured early, Luku's come on, like for like at 9, but Barassi's gone off for an HIA, and Oscar Jegu, the back row, has come on for Barassi and looks to be lurking in the midfield.
That's exactly what they're doing. He's in the midfield. Is he in 12 or 13?
Well, taken by Guillard. Oh, that's a decent carry from the second row. Pundles into Josh van der Fleer. Oh, this game, it's going to say it so often over the next 32 minutes. On a knife edge. Good clearance, Luku. That was shaded upon. He's whacked it miles downfield, halfway line for Ireland line out.
Chris, you must say it is unfortunate this has happened, but you have to look at the bench. You really do. You know, it is such a risk going with a 7-1. It really is. And I know there's tactical reasons behind it, and here they come. They're all unloading. Well, 5 French forwards coming onto the pitch now. They've their back row in the centre, but you wonder how the structure and the play.
Well, let's just soak in this moment. Peter O'Mahony going off for the last time at the Aviva, and everyone around us is on their feet. Not a single person in the stadium is still seated. Donncha O'Callaghan gets to his feet as well to mark the brilliant Ireland career of this legendary back rower Peter O'Mahony. 113th and penultimate cap. He might still have one last Six Nations title to play for next weekend, but his career in the Green of Ireland in Dublin over as Ireland win the line out just short of halfway.
Yeah, incredible player, incredible man, even incredible performance today out of him, and a lovely touch by even Josh van der Fleer coming off with him and not taking anything away from him. Nearly runs off the other way, but he won't care about retiring anything now. He'll only care about the next 30 minutes and getting the result.
Ireland kick, then France had it. Ramos dribbles it down the right touchline, then he tackles Gibson Park, and we're starting to see both head coaches empty the bench now. Donncha, we've got front row changes for France who are attacking through Penno. They've got numbers here, France. Great ball out to Bielbiarri. He can go round Keenan. He's got such pace. He kicks for himself. Oh, what a try this could be. Bielbiarri. Oh, what a try. From the genius winger of French rugby, who has taken the sport by storm. He had space after Penno's pass. He left Keenan for dead. His kick perfectly weighted, and is that the try that puts France in the Six Nations box seat?
It is as good a finish as you will ever see. Incredible work. You see the ability to turn over the ball one, and then the speed to move it across the pitch. Bielbiarri has so much work to do here. You just look, he puts it inside Sam Prendergast and then has the nose to get across.
And Luku was going for it as well, but Bielbiarri definitely got there. I mean, that would have been a proper poach, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it?
Oh, wow, look at the French fans. They're cheering as Ramos kicks, splits the post. The lead's significant now. Ireland 13, France 22. 2 tries in the space of a handful of minutes from the French. We spoke all week about their firepower, their ability to strike from nowhere, and no one embodies that more than Louis Bielbiarri, who's now got 17 in 18.
A special talent. That, what a moment. Chris, what a finish. You hope for players like that, but just in the big moments to step up like that, incredible.
Wow, magnificent from the French. Helped, of course, by Calvin Nash being in the sin bin. And there'll be Ireland fans listening to us who will feel that there were 2 TMO calls that went France's way. But that's the game. When the stakes are so high, the margin's so fine, the decisions can twist one way or the other. And Luku, in fairness to him, has just cleared his lines brilliantly again. He's gone deep into Irish territory. And this is a massive test of Ireland now. Down to 14 for the next 4 minutes, Donncha O'Callaghan, and they trail by 9 against this French onslaught.
Absolutely, and you're right. Luku doing an incredible job of. He knows there isn't probably much shape outside him, so he's going to control it. Like what we always would have said of the classic French nines, and Ireland losing a vital line-out.
Oh, they've got away through Marchand. France have started to empty the bench and bring on the big men. Cyril Bay, offload, Miafu's on. Oh, they're cooking here, the French, and Jalonche's playing in the midfield, Jégu as well. They drive into the 22, another French try, and it could be curtains for Ireland. They come again through Marchand into the 22. Le Marcier's rings around the Aviva. Cyril Bay steps. Look at the confidence oozing out of every French player. And Tamac out to Ramos down this left touchline. Penno shrugs off Gibson Park, and he's off. Damien Penno, he's levelled by Byrne. Good tackle by the Munsterman, but they might have numbers to the right. France, they're quite narrow. Can they get on the edge? I think they can. Thomas Ramos, still Ramos, up to 10 metres out. Now 5, pick and go. Jalonche slightly isolated. Doris needs to get that. He hasn't. It's there for Luku with 4 metres to go to the Irish line, and 9 points the gap. Can France see this game out here and now? With still 27 minutes to go, they carry through Miafu, 2 or 3 metres up the giant lock. There for France, the big forwards, those 7 forwards on the bench, most of them on now. They go to work, pressure on Ireland. They've got advantage, out to Ntamak, Damien Penaud tries to get it to Ramos. That's gone loose. Gibson Park should get Ramos. He's a bit high, Gibson Park, but no advantage. Back for the penalty. And you would imagine, well, Donica, you tell me, Ramos can kick to take the gap out to 12.
Playing the half-back.
Yeah, or they can stick it in the corner and really try and twist the knife.
Well, there you go. There's a reason they went for this pack, and I think these are the moments, especially down to up a number, and Ireland are on the ropes. They really are. Moments like that. Caelan Doris coming up the ruck and giving away quite an easy penalty, but they're fatigue errors, Chris. They're those moments where you look for the air is tight and you're just not making as clear as the decision as you normally do.
But that's clear thinking from the French, going for goal. The gap is 9, goes out to 12, and you're saying, Ireland, you scored at least twice.
Absolutely.
2 tries then.
You're right, win the game. I just thought with the amount of forwards they're back on the pitch, with the momentum they have at the moment.
And keep an eye on the bonus points as well. France have 3 tries now. They get a try bonus point, then they have, it'll be in their destiny anyway, but then that's even more in their destiny if they've just got to get any kind of result against Scotland. Wow, we wondered whether that Sheehan try was the moment, and since then, yellow card Ireland, 2 converted French tries and maybe a penalty. 17 uninterrupted points.
And 2 incredible French tries, to be fair, and potential kick here too. As you said, push it out to 2 scores.
Thomas Ramos, up he steps, head down. Oh, he snuck it inside the right upright. And the French flags fly all around the Aviva. What a weekend these French fans are having. They're seeing so far a great Six Nations performance from their men. 55 minutes gone, Jack Crowley on. Big call, Simon Easterby. Bundy Aki's off. So Prendergast going into centre, is that?
Or would you put Osborne in there?
Wow.
Interesting to see.
Big calls going on every single minute of this match. Taken by Flamand, and well, there are a few more dangerous sights and dangerous beasts in world rugby than a French team with confidence. And they've scored 17 uninterrupted points from 13-8 down. They lead by 25-13. And so interesting that he's kept Prendergast on and brought Crowley on. As Ntamak takes it, and there is quiet now around the Aviva.
There absolutely is. This Irish supporters and players a little bit rattled at the moment, and France, you're right, the confidence is up. They're running it from everywhere.
They're still playing. That's Budahon, who's been outstanding on the open side. He stormed down the left flank. Is Barassi coming back on? We'll have to get word about that. But it doesn't matter if they're playing like this, France. The offload from Miafu and Tamak, lovely hands. Shegu kicks. It's not actually a bad plan. Osborne's back in a bit of trouble. Can they make the tackle? Oh, and how? An absolute thunderous tackle from France. Osborne's in trouble. Are Ireland off their feet? Referee brilliantly positioned and happy. Not even an hour played. What a game it's been. Ireland 13, France 25. And Donica, as Ireland prepare to clear from under their own crossbar, it's Crowley on his left boot. Gets it away just up to the 22. Got to score next, Ireland, haven't they?
Absolutely, but France keeping them high up the pitch and giving them no option as Calvin Nash runs back on. Ireland back to 15, which they badly need.
And I tell you what, it's also, I think we assume Barassi isn't coming back on, and if so, we'll wait and get confirmation of that. But that would be a very brave and correct call from the French medics, because, they're independent matchday doctors as well, to avoid anything like that, but they've got to make the call purely based on what they see in his condition, rather than thinking, oh,
you're right,
they've got no backs.
Yeah, absolutely, the right thing for the player and to look after him. But you're right, the confidence is up with France.
And Marchand has done a little move at the front, and he's gone storming down the right touchline. And they're deep in the Irish 22, and they lead by a whopping 12 points. And in a game as intense as this, 12 points is huge, especially when you've got pressure and territory and the ball and Miafu carrying. Doris is trying to get something at the breakdown, but France are clearing him. Jelonch, and they're picking and going. The big forwards going to work slightly loose, but Luku's got it. He's having a really good game, Luku, in Dupont's absence. There's no 9, so the forwards have to go and play. Clever work. Marchand's in there. Out it comes to Meafu, who's made such a big impact with all of that weight. 6 metres out. The crowd know that Ireland's Six Nations hopes may be slipping away as Jelonch drives once more. They're close to the ruck here, the French. They're picking and going through the big men. They're driving once more. Jelonch is in there, desperately looking for the turnover, but still there with France and Moefana and this 12-point lead. And they pick and go. Tyburn's on there. Oh, they've scored, France. They've wriggled through to score. They've gone under Tyburn. And Oscar Jegu's got the try. This is a blitz. This is a magnificent statement. And again, the French fans around Dublin dance. They've scored their 4th try, and they may well have taken it out of sight now.
And you can't take away from it, Chris. To be fair, it is a domination on carries. The Irish players you can't fault their effort. They are throwing themselves at this French pack, but they're just the physicality, the strength, the power. You look at the last carry, Caelan Doris, Finlay Bealham, great defenders, but sat in on their heels, and a brilliant score for France, a different score for France, attritional, and just leaving everyone know we might have a back row in the centre, but we can do exactly this.
Oh, there are French all around the Aviva Stadium, and they're making themselves known. Ramos turns the screw even further. Ireland 13, France 32. And Donnchadh, you can be well-meaning and you can be intense and aggressive all you like in defence, but when they're coming in waves with that weight, it's just not possible to stop.
Absolutely, you could put it down to physics, and it is really disappointing, because you can't fault the effort. You really can't. There isn't Irish players looking to make missed tackles, but these French players, the power, the pace, their ability to get over the gain line at all costs, and the smarts to kick long when they need to.
A 24-point blitz has left Ireland staring down the barrel, France with the try bonus point, and French fans around Dublin delirious. An hour gone exactly at the Aviva as Ireland lose it forward, and now, Donnchadh, this is a shell-shocked Ireland team.
Absolutely, and this is, we spoke about it earlier on, Chris, this is the character test. Of course, you don't want to come out the outside of it and lose championships, but you've got to show character in these moments and get back into the game. There are hard days when it doesn't go your way, but this is where you need a few individuals to really step up. Ireland have brought on James Ryan, but honestly, it feels like we're in Parc des Princes or Stade de France. It is the French supporters loving this moment.
Or can Ireland do anything to stem the tide?
Patient, please, okay? Respect the space.
We said in the week, we've been podding all week, this French team have a very, very high ceiling, but we don't always see them get to that ceiling. But the last 20 minutes, we've seen them smash their ceilings.
Absolutely, and the worrying thing, Chris, is I kind of feel like they're in third. They could, they
There's
could.
more to come.
Yeah.
Wow. Imagine if there is, with 19 minutes to go. Angus Gardner wants France to use it, even though they're convinced they've got the nudge on. They're not going to use. That was really odd. Luku goes open, and Tamak tries to step Crowley. I mean, they can't put too many shapes together with Jegu standing out in the midfield, but they don't need to if they've got this power. That's a maul, so Ireland are going to get the ball and listen to a little bit of noise around the Aviva, but it's so telling that no one's on their feet.
Yeah.
Everyone's politely applauding, whereas the French fans are just full of energy and beans.
Absolutely, the momentum has changed in the stand as well. Jack Crowley with a big moment, gone into 12 there on that defensive play, and able to hold up and turn over the ball and turn it into a maul. A guy that hasn't had a whole lot of game time, but body language as well, Chris. You just look at the Irish players there, you just kind of have the feel that it's one of those days, whereas the French seem to have grown a foot.
Well, we spoke earlier about composure, about experience. They've got plenty of it out there, Ireland. They need to somehow just try and go a score at a time, but they've scored 13 points in 62 minutes.
You're right, Chris, that's all they need to do now. Get on the scoreboard next.
But it might be too little too late. The gap is huge. 32-13 France lead, and you sense from the flatness And the resignation around the Aviva that this knowledgeable crowd know. Calvin Nash has since been decisive, but what a French onslaught. As Ireland try and tack down the left touchline, they bumble out of touch, and France are kind of doing this in cruise control at the moment.
And not only that, like, you have to credit the defence. Of course, Sean Edwards. We saw it even with Wales, keeping the team to 0. You look at that moment, the only Irish score really off a maul and down the short side. France's defence today has been immense.
And they lead by 19 points at the Aviva. When do we ever say that? When do we ever say that when Ireland are so seldom beaten here, let alone taken to the cleaners as they have been after half-time? That Dan Sheehan try put Ireland ahead, and the Aviva Stadium was daring to dream of history, a third straight title they could have wrapped up next week. But with 17 minutes to go, it's Ireland 13, France 32, and France are just, they're bullying Ireland physically. That's good work from Ireland to stay firm. Ball was out. Doris will valiantly try all day. What a player he is, Doris, but Ireland are at the moment being beaten out of sight by the French. Still plenty of time left as they look to go from their own 22. Sam Prendergast, nice loop with Osborne, who has gone into the midfield as you flagged Donica, and then it's been knocked on by Prendergast, and groans around the stadium.
Yeah, they're the moments. They really are, like you said. You know, normally what we're so used to with this Irish team is the cohesion, the ability to read each other. Just a knock on by Hugo Keenan, who's in a bit of space, but this Irish team look rattled, and I want Josh van der Fleer coming back on for a HIA to lose your captain now, Caelan Doris. But Chris, it can be tough. I don't mean to make excuses, but when you go out and you give it everything and you have no answers, it can be like you can end up looking at your teammates going, we're behind the 8 ball here, and it's not from want and it's not from desire. It's just it just looks like France are a class ahead today.
Yeah, it must be so hard because you've practiced so much and you've played so well for so long as a team, but when one team is up and the tide seems to be unrelenting from the French.
Absolutely, and we saw that even early in the first 20 minutes. When you keep throwing punches, you keep giving it everything you can, and you're just running into a blue wall. It does deflate you, and this could be a scarring game for Ireland.
France with the scrum. Oh, little crossfield from Ramos asking Penaud to chase, all on the bounce. It's sat up for France, has it? No, well done, Jamie Osborne. He missed the first bounce, then he got it away, but nothing's going right for Ireland. He's hacked it out on the full, and France will get the line out near the 22. And you've got to say, Donica, we flagged it as a big area, and we said it was risky, but the 7-1 has been an absolute revelation so far for France, because yes, they've had to react and adapt, but those men have come on and just physically made such a difference.
Absolutely, and look, I will have green eyes when I look at it, but I thought with Antoine Dupont leaving the pitch, that's where this is really going to be questioned. But they have bought into this, and to be fair to them, they have a plan and they are executing it perfectly. I'm going to go back to it. I do think their defence, though, has taken the edge off this Irish team. You look at these Irish players, normally so energetic. They look, you know what I mean, the air has been taken from them.
They look deflated as France continue to come in waves. Oh, it's a penalty. France bang in front of the post. Ramos will throw this over. Luku applauds, he knows, doesn't he? Maxime Luku, the scrum half. You know, you get that penalty when you already lead by 19. They can take it out to 22. They can kill Ireland off blow by blow here, France. 24 unanswered points, about to come 27 because Ramos will throw this over 30 odd metres out bang in front.
And this is the worry everyone had. To be fair, Chris, this Irish team has been incredible for the last few years, and to have a moment like this, but it just shows the ruthless edge of France. They're not bothered. You know, they're going to keep the hammer on, and every point they're going to take advantage.
You both were on.
Angus Gardner now talking to Dan Sheehan, who's captain, with Doris going off, as La Marseillaise rings loudly around Dublin. They have travelled in their numbers, the French. Maybe with expectation, maybe with hope, maybe with both. And their men have delivered. Thomas Ramos to take the gap out even further. He doesn't miss, he won't miss. He bangs it through. Ireland 13, France 35. Fabien Galthié motionless, but inside he's going to be feeling pretty happy with the way things are unfolding.
Yeah, and even small things. Ramos quite good in his kicking to leave the clock wind down. Not there. He's 23 seconds and he's banging it over the bar because they want to play. They want to push this out. They know there's blood in the water and they want to take full advantage.
And they're getting all the breaks. This is what happens. That's why the game is so brutal and compelling, because when the momentum turns and swings, France are getting all the little tip-ons. That one ended up in the hands of Jelonch, and they're just bursting with confidence as Ramos goes into 10 and sends a crossfield up, asking Penaud to get up, and he does get up. He does brilliantly to beat Osborne. He's good in the air. Now Ramos is stepping slightly down a blind alley as Van der Fleer, who's on for Doris, who's having an HIA. Penalty Ireland though. They finally get something at the ruck, but with the clock saying 68 minutes plus, Donncha O'Callaghan, Ireland 13, France 35. It's a long shot.
Yeah, it certainly is, but they need to get back. They need to find a way, and I think every other supporter here will just want to see them going out and giving it everything to the last second. This team deserves to, as we see, 3 replacements, 2 of them for the last time.
Cian Healy on for Andrew Porter, Rob Herring on for Dan Sheeran, and Conor Murray on for Jamison Gibson-Park. So 11 and a half minutes for Cian Healy and Conor Murray to soak up their last rugby at their Viva, but they'll just be thinking about the scoreboard and how it's going to all end in disappointment unless Ireland can come up with something incomprehensible and miraculous. Ireland 13, France 35, almost 70 minutes gone. They've scored 27 unanswered points in a second half demolition of Ireland. Crowley, Prendergast tries to get it away but can't, and France might be on to this. Osborne's holding on to it, but it's there for Conor Murray. The move broke down. Jack Conan's having a good championship and he gets the offload away. That's good from Ireland as they go to about 10 or 11 metres out, maybe fewer actually. Cian Healy, nice ball. Osborne out to Robbie Henshaw. Henshaw's going to score, surely, against Meafu. Oh, how did Meafu stop Henshaw? I've got no idea, but he did just about the giant lock. You'd have enjoyed that. I know he's in the blue, not the green, but as a lock.
Oh, incredible work. I think Robbie will regret not going outside him.
Out it comes to Van der Fleer. The game's really breaking up. Van der Fleer sets it up in centre field. As Conor Murray comes to the right, Prendergast a little dab ahead, advantage over, says the ref. That'll be a goal line as Thomas Ramos dots it down.
What's that?
Angus Gardner is just speaking to Christoph Ridley. Let's listen into this chat.
My live view was deliberate. I know you had knock on.
Yeah, okay. We'll take a time off for injury. Yep.
So going to be a check for a deliberate knock-on, which might
it's all right, mate.
well be a penalty. I mean, Ireland are on to their third skipper now, aren't they? Because they've lost Doris, they've taken Sheehan off. James Ryan is on, I think he's captain, and they're going to check.
Looking at a potential deliberate knock-on by Blue 7. Yeah.
Here's the replay. Conor Murray passed it out to Tyke Byrne. It's one of those, isn't it, where you could either say he's just making a tackle or he's being cute. I think this will probably end up being an Ireland penalty. What do you reckon, Donncha?
Yeah, I think his hand is there.
He's
to
wide,
be fair,
so it's just a penalty.
Unsighted of it, I agree. Penalty only.
It's just a penalty. There's no overlap opportunity there.
Yeah, and Angus Gardner isn't going to go with a yellow card. It's one of those we see it all the time. We saw it in the Scotland-Ireland game. We've seen it in plenty of matches this Six Nations.
Not for me, mate.
You've been there, Donncha, many a time for Munster, Ireland and the Lions.
It is deliberate. He's coming in as part of the tackle, so it's just going to be a penalty only.
Can
guys.
you go and make it look like you're tackling, but also leaving your arms quite wide too?
Yeah, but I think it's quite obvious, and Gardner's done a good job in this case. He sees the intent is to try to make and finish and complete the tackle, but it isn't a deliberate, which warrants a yellow card. Personally, a bit disappointed with that Irish attack, that it didn't fire, and maybe that's something that it's missed today. It's been a bit blunt. Of course, it's run into an absolute blue wall, but there's moments there, you look at young Jack Crowley in the centre for that moment. You wonder how many times they would have practiced in that setup.
Nice take in the line-up. Tyburn down to Conor Murray. He bants the try on his last Aviva appearance. He's up to the line actually. Is that being held up? Has Murray got it down? Held up is the call from Angus Gardner. Conor Murray denied, and France just will not relent. And you've said it a fair few times, Donica, for all their brilliance in attack, Biel Biarri and Dupont when he was on, they have been monstrous in defence, the French.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been quite a difficult game to call, Chris, because the usual structure from both teams has gone out the window. This has been quite a different type of rugby performance from both sets of teams, and Ireland looking for anything here now too. It's wrong to say get back in this game, but maybe make the scoreboard look a bit more impressive.
Ireland are still attacking, but the clock and the scoreboard are right against them. Ireland 13, France 35. 5 Sports Extra from the BBC, the BBC Sport website and app. Scotland against Wales to come. Well, that kicks off in 45 minutes with Sarah and the team. Prendergast is static. Now they're working some shapes. Henshaw, Keenan. He'll give Osborne some space to run into as he storms into the 22. 8.5 minutes to go. The gap is huge though at 22-point advantage as they drive on once again. Do Ireland as Prendergast kicks, and Murfana's going to get there, but there is a penalty. But there's no body language from the Ireland players that suggests that they know the clock, they know the scoreboard. They can try what they like, but they know the game is done.
Absolutely, but they also know the challenge. To be fair, and we're going back over it. They know, taking a quick tap here, what are you running into? Because France look quite content at the moment to leave Ireland have the ball at this point. They're fully sure of their defensive set, and it looks like they're enjoying just barring up and enjoying defending.
And that's when you know you're in a good spot as a team, is it? When you've got the scoreboard and you say, okay,
wait till he's on the deck.
We'll just see this clock out, smashing people backwards.
And Chris, it's rare it happens where you actually get to enjoy some moments of an international, and that's exactly what this French team have earned for themselves. They have 8 minutes here to actually enjoy this game.
And they are storming towards the Six Nations title. They've got the bonus point. They'll go up to 16. Ireland will have 14. It means if France get any kind of win against Scotland, Ireland can't catch them. It does bring England in, but England would have to get 2 try bonus point wins and a load of points to match this huge French points difference. As Ireland still attack, every point does matter in the context of the championship and that points difference, but so hard to see anyone overhauling France if they get the job done against Scotland now. Because with 16 match points, they can get up to 21 and no one else can do that. Tyburn drives, 5 metres out. He couldn't be closer. Conor Murray has options. Munster teammate Crowley out the back. Robbie Henshaw for the line. France still holding on with 6 and a bit minutes to go. Calvin Nash, a late call up with low out. Jelonch is there trying to steal. Boudahon actually it is. Offside though against the French. As Ireland pick and go, but the French continue to repel them. Penalty against France. There'll be a yellow card now. But just like you're saying, Dominic O'Callaghan, you don't think the French particularly mind.
Absolutely, and it feels like the Irish attack isn't stressing it all that much, Chris. If you look there, every Irish player is inside the first post. And we're off with Rob Herring, quick tap.
Quick tap from Ireland, who are up to the line. Angus Gardner's really well positioned. Conor Murray, they can walk this in. Oh, it's intercepted by Ramos. Ramos is going to go the distance, and when he give it to Penaud. Penaud against Prendergast. No contest. Oh, what a moment for France. What a moment for Penaud. What a moment for these hundreds and hundreds of French fans. They've taken Ireland apart, and they've got one more try near the end to seal one of the great wins in French rugby history. And they're storming to this Six Nations title now. Penaud under the post, and Ireland beaten out of sight.
An unbelievable play. Ireland having to throw the ball, look to go out the back door, but the read is perfect. Able to Ramos intercepting the ball on his 5 metre line, runs to halfway, a ball back inside. Sam Prendergast doing everything he could to try to stop it. But what a fantastic score, and runs into his teammates and gets to enjoy it.
And what a dive. What an expression on Penaud's face, and the joy from these French fans that have flocked to Dublin. Their joy undiluted as Ramos whacks it over. Oh, it's an absolute hammering. Ireland 13, France 42. and some fans are pouring out of the Aviva. A day that promised so much has delivered nothing for Ireland, but well, this is France's day. A magnificent performance from Les Bleus. 42 points to 13.
I think you're right, Chris. It is disappointing to see people leaving. Of course, you know what I mean. You understand. Today didn't go this Irish team's way, but they have been outstanding for so long. But today, you must say, France are just playing at a different level. This has honestly been an exhibition when it comes to a different type of rugby, a physicality that basically this Irish team can't live with.
Yeah, and they'll still have to beat Scotland next week, but the points and the tries, they've got 5. They had the bonus point wrapped up a while ago, and it means that they can get up to 21 points, and if they do that, they can't be caught. And it's inconceivable to see England catching their points difference, which is monstrous. So unless France slip up against Scotland, they're going to win their first title in 3 years. Penalty Ireland, but it's all too little too late for the Irish, who trail by 42 points to 13 with a couple of minutes to go. Prendergast, does he get it to touch? Yes, he does. He kicks the touch, and Ireland will have a line out 5 or 6 metres out. Donnacha O'Callaghan.
Yeah, it's tough. You've got to feel for this team, but the endeavour, the want to keep going and try has never stopped.
Number 11, Louis
Bielbiarri, player of the match. Oh, that second try he scored. Wow.
Incredible. It had it all. And to be fair, mixed emotions, because of course, as an Irishman, you want to see the performance, but I think we've seen something quite special out of France today.
Yeah, I think it's one of the great Six Nations performances. It's one that we've talked about for years. They've driven on and scored. It's Cian Healy. Oh, what a moment for him. Well, how special would that have been in a winning cause? It's still a special moment for Ireland's most capped player. He scored a try. The celebrations, though, very muted. If you'd have told Cian Healy he's going to score on 77 minutes, you'd think that it would be a try to maybe win the game, but it's a try that's only consolation.
Yeah, absolutely, and he didn't even get to walk back as far as he'd like before Sam Prendergast had the ball over the bar. So French team taking their time to get up, but just a personal one for Cian Healy, an incredible player, but also an incredible teammate, a great guy, and you like to see him have a moment like that. It is unfortunate. He won't be happy at all with this scoreline, but for him to get a moment like that, at least around his friends and family on a special day.
And Tamak restarts, and we're only 2.5 minutes away. Oh, Osborne is clattered by Damien Penaud, is that? And he's been injured. No, it wasn't Penaud. It was a run from, came in from nowhere, the French player, to try and take Osborne out. Ireland are attacking from their own 22, as you would expect. Murray digging for the ball. The counter-ruck is good. Nash picks it up. Then it's been lost. Then it's been hacked forward. It's still there for France. As Ireland, still there for Ireland as France try to steal. Doris is back on after an HIA. He peels around the ruck. And there for Crowley, who stepped into scrum half. Prendergast will go cross-field. This is going to go out of touch, though, is it? No, it's there for Jack Conan, who's got it after a couple of bounces. So enterprising stuff from Ireland. Ireland 20, France 42. Another kick downfield, and Ramos, who's everywhere, gathers. He goes back into his 22, so he can't go for touch, but he just clears his line.
Yeah, play advantage.
5 times, number 19, Emmanuel Mafi, was told to retreat. So there's a penalty, but there is a 50-22, so Ireland will get the line out.
He actually even looked at the referee and just said, you know what, I'm not too bothered. You know, incredible. So Ireland delighted with that 50-22, kind of get a bit of foothold
19.
Into the French half for the last bit. And
you must retreat. You must retreat, mate. Okay.
He must retreat. I mean, he said it's so we can hear it up here.
That was great. They ended up looking at each other and he was going nowhere.
Ireland 20, France 42. It was Penaud who, that kind of maniacal tackle, that was all fine. He's had a storming game, and that try at the end he'll long remember, as will everyone here from a French point of view. As Ireland try and work a shape, Prendergast throws it out. Oh, good ball to Osborne. Ramos was looking for another intercept. And we're in the final 30 seconds of this contest, which has been overwhelmingly won by France after an extraordinarily dominant second half display. Doris, Henshaw now has it. as France look to rip it up the tackle. They're looking to, they're going to get a turnover here. Through they come. Hugo Alradou is on, and these French forwards have made a big impression. Angus Gardner having a long look at this breakdown. It's coming back on Ireland's side. It's an Ireland penalty with a handful of seconds to go. So Ireland will just tap. I suppose points difference still becomes a thing as Crowley finds Conan, who's got another try. He's scoring them for fun this championship. That'll be the final play of the game. Ireland 25, France 42, kicks to come. And we do have to reiterate the points difference is still important. However, with France's points difference, with the bonus point, it is still in French hands. And Ireland's try is their third, so they haven't got that try bonus point.
Excuse me.
So they're going to come away empty-handed from this one as Prendergast prepares for the final kick of this contest. Ireland 25, France 42.
Yeah, it's been an incredible performance. It's been an incredible game, Chris, isn't it? It really has, in terms of everything was so fast and on the line. Can't take away from this French team. It really is. To go away from home and put in a performance like this, to lose your best player, one of the best players in the world, have all the answers every time. Full credit to them.
Prendergast converts, but the smiles are all French. Ireland 27, France 42. It's one of the great wins in French rugby history. They've come to the Aviva and they've taken Ireland apart in the second half. A French blitz, a French onslaught. They've got a try bonus point. A huge points difference advantage has got even bigger. They win and they take a huge step towards the Six Nations title. Yes, they've still got to get the job done against Scotland, but it's getting to the stage where any kind of win will do against the Scots. England will have to come from nowhere and win 2 games with try bonus points and a hatful of points at home to Italy and away to Wales. But it's completely and utterly in France's hands now, Donnacha, after a magnificent performance from the men in blue.
Absolutely, and today they looked like a gulf. There really was, and we all said it was the sum of the parts, but you can't credit for talented individuals, and physically and both skill-wise, France brought it today. It was an incredible performance, but I must say the defensive performance from this French team today, the want to get up and meet this Irish team every time at the gain line and run them back over. Ireland had no answers. The breakdown was a mess. Ireland had to go to trying to offload, but it honestly feels like being in Paris here today. The French supporters absolutely loving what they saw, and they should. France were incredible.
It's like the 50th rendition of La Marseillaise this second half. 34 unanswered points. I mean, there have been some great wins away from home in this wonderful championship, but that might well be the best we've ever seen.
Yeah, and you don't want to take away from it by saying, like, Ireland didn't really even implode. There was a few, the sin binnings definitely cost. You can't go up against a team like that, but it's hard to verbalise for me, Chris, but I do think there was just a gulf today. We just saw a performance from a group of individuals that they clicked as a team, and this French team, when they do that, I think they're a match for everyone in the world. They really, really are. I worry a little bit. Is this something we're going to see more of? The 7-1, it worked today. Do other teams start going that way? But I think bar maybe England and France, no one else has that firepower.
Yeah, it's South Africa. It's really South Africa and France, isn't it? That are the teams that can do it because they've got the depth of forward to do it. And wow, it's worked.
Yeah.
Because whether it was Aradu or Jegu or Jelonch or Mayafu or the front rowers, that power game in the second half, and then you chuck in Louis Bielbieri's genius and Ramos's playmaking and Luca, who was extraordinarily good in Dupont's absence. You put all that together, it's a frightening concoction Ireland couldn't live with.
Absolutely, and I think we have to acknowledge that. What we're seeing now is a change in athletes. These really are guys who can put back rows in the centres. It is remarkable to see how the game is evolving and turning, but I know people oppose it, but today France got 7-1, absolutely spot on, even after losing Antoine Dupont
and Barassi. Yes, so exactly what we feared on their behalf. We thought, oh, what if they get injuries? Well, they lost their 9, they lost their centre, and they didn't miss a trick. Oh, what a second half performance that was. You know, words like clinical, demolition, ruthless, brutal. It was a bit of everything. You know, there were times when they were just taking Ireland up the guts and absolutely smashing them physically, and then Penaud streaking in from 60. Bialbiari's try, when he goes around a few players, kicks for himself, dots it down. That's a famous try, isn't it?
Yeah.
Famous try from a player who's taken the rugby world by storm.
Absolutely, and a fantastic finish, and all of it. I think they'll be so pleased. It is. I worry though, just from an Irish point of view, I worry, could this be a scarring loss? Could it be one of these ones everyone else is going to look? It is disappointing that you have to send 3 of your greats off, and you know the crowd is emptying out. The French are loving every moment of it, but I think maybe France might have exposed a bit of kryptonite here that other teams probably have tried to, and right now, you know, they've shown how you beat Ireland.
Yeah, and then when it comes to the next step, you know, Ireland can go to Italy, but because Ireland only got the 3 tries through Sheehan, Healy and Conan, they don't get that bonus point. They start the day on 14 match points, they end the day on 14 match points. France go from 11 to 16, and yes, England are on 10. England can get to 20, but that means any French win against Scotland, their points difference is ridiculous. They started it on minus 91, they've won by 42 to 27, so if I do my maths quickly, their points difference is 106. England's is minus, or England's is, so points difference 100. England have to make up 100 odd points in points difference, and that's relying on France not beating Scotland with a bonus point. And if France play half as well at home, you'd think they'll score 4 tries. So what we thought was a game that would send the destiny of the tide to one way or the other, it sent it overwhelmingly in France's direction.
And you can see that by both sets of team here, both sets of teams. The French down celebrating, and they know it's all they need to do next week. Win, and you win this championship. Of course, there's all sorts of you went pure Carl Vorderman on me there, and you're right. There is points that can be, but Ireland certainly look like they're a team down and out. But France enjoying every moment, and what a way to win it next week in a brilliant championship.
And I wonder, you know, that's France, and from an Ireland point of view, they're doing a lap, and they'll be some moments later with their friends and families, and of course they need to celebrate the careers of Healy, Imani and Murray. But we've been here before with French teams beating Ireland at latter stages of Champions Cups, and goodness me, they've beaten France in 23 and 24, so it's not like France always have Ireland's number at all, but it was the kind of performance that might take a bit mentally to recover from if you're Ireland. Then when you look at Lions selection, we were talking through the week about how Ireland could form the core of the Lions team, and they may still, but there aren't going to be too many players that made a compelling case to Andy Farrell this afternoon.
Absolutely, Chris, and that's the worrying side of it. And I think what we saw today was it was a difference in athletes. It really is, with skill set and that power game. And I'll be honest with you, I worry for Ireland. I don't think we can ever answer it. Of course, we have incredible players, but we were always we are a sum of the parts nation. But now you've seen here firsthand today, rugby nearly evolved in front of our eyes, and France have a different way of doing stuff. And I think there's other teams like England and South Africa that can certainly do that as well. But I think, from an Irish point of view, it could be very difficult for us to try to copy that type of way of play. We simply can't, I don't feel.
Yeah, but Ireland have got a lot of success playing connected pattern rugby. They just met a team today who are on a different planet, didn't they? Wow. Final word, Donncha. I think it's been a privilege to be here, because even though it wasn't as tight as we would have hoped from a neutral's point of view, there wasn't a jeopardy in the final 20 minutes. That French onslaught was something to behold, wasn't it, after half-time?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, there's an early side of me that I actually cannot wait to go back and watch that defensive performance. I know it's not what the casual fan wants to see, but a purist there. It was an exhibition today. Both sides of the ball, the French team were incredible and fully worthy of their win today, and leaves them nicely set up to win a championship.
It does. It leaves them with it completely in their own hands, France. If they get a try bonus point win against Scotland, they cannot be caught. A win against Scotland almost certainly gets them the title, unless England have some remarkable days at the office against Italy and Wales. So was this the day that France moved back to the top of European rugby? It was one of the great Six Nations performances and the French. I said there were hundreds, there are thousands of French in this crowd. I mean, this is what the Six Nations is all about. I know home advantage needs to be huge, but it is so cool, and I'm sure it'll be the same when we go to Edinburgh shortly with Sarah and the team. There'll be Welsh all over Edinburgh, and that is why there is no tournament like it. There's no tournament where you cross seas and you go across the continent and fans travel with the teams.
Absolutely, and love every minute of it. You can see the Irish people celebrating with the French, and that, you're right, Chris, that's what's beautiful about our game. That's something we got to protect. We have a brilliant competition, and everyone, will hail this brilliant French team that come out on top, especially for the way they perform, and also their fans being so engaged.
Terrific stuff, Donncha. Been a real pleasure. A disappointing one from an Ireland point of view. I know that's not the result you wanted, but great to have you with us. And goodness me, what a performance from France, who have won by 42 points to 27. Loads more reaction coming on the Rugby Union Weekly podcast, but there is loads more live action to come now on Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. Sarah in Edinburgh, match that please.